What's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Mic check, mic check. You guys hear me okay? Let's go ahead and get this show started, man.
Loud and clear.
Go ahead and introduce the panel. We got Miss Aisha, Danielle, Simone, Luis, Viz, True Table, Colt Ill, Hint, myself, and Lapeef JR. Welcome to the Wednesday show. Another great day in the paradise. How y'all doing on this Wednesday?
I'm good.
Highly favored.
Yep, blessed and highly favored.
I already know, man. Been doing it so long, you already know what somebody gonna say. Right on.
Yeah,
Right on.
right on. I know it. I know it.
Yes, yes. Good to see y'all, man. Let me go ahead and see what we got in the chat. I see Miss Gina, you active today. So shout out to Miss Gina, man. She's saying a whole lot of things, man. She's already responding to the title. So shout out to you, Jolie. What's going on? Just Being Jazzy podcast. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Big Lee, what's going on? What's the truth about Black culture? Please take your feelings out of it. Great. AP, what's going on, brother? AP is in the house. What's going on? Miss Brittany B. Brittany B, she's been around for a long time. Shout out to Miss Brittany B, man. Good to see you here. Frenchie K757, what's going on? Also got Scorched Earth 824. Got Mrs. Hink in the house as well. Shout out to everybody, man. Good to see you. So happy, man, to be in the presence amongst the all-star panel today. We got True Table, man. It's always a delight to have you, brother. You've been around for a long time, man. I really enjoy your balanced perspective, I must say. So thank you for blessing us as usual. What else we got? SSIMON. That's Simone. Okay. Anyhow, let's go and get this show started, man. So we had an interesting show last Thursday. Very, very, very controversial. If you guys missed it, you will get a clip of it, but I strongly suggest you go and check it out. You don't want to miss that one because it raised the eyes of a lot of people, man. A lot of comments, a lot of dialogue back and forth. And I was quite surprised on what I was seeing because some people said that Amira had a point. Amira had a point and that people were in their feelings. Others thought that people from the outside shouldn't speak about our culture. Some people actually got passionate on the panel, man, which I love that. I love when people get passionate because then that's when the truth comes out. So I did had this clip. We have a few more other people that's up here right now. And I really want to have an honest conversation and seeing if we can unpack this, unpack what was being said, unpack how people responded. And I just want to make sure we create a safe space, man, to be able to actually deal with this issue because it is an issue. So the first question, I'm going to go around the panel and ask you guys, and keep this one brief, man, so we can go ahead and hop right into it. What do you think about Black American culture? Your honest opinion about Black American culture. I'm going to start with you first, Aisha, and I'm just going to go around.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Black American culture, that is a loaded thing. I think that it's rich. I think that Black Americans have something that no one else have because of our proximity to the United States, and we have a fighting spirit. We don't flee, and I think that itself is a different spirit. I think that a lot of people want to be Black Americans. Like, they buy our culture, they take our culture, they vote off our culture, and then they say we don't have culture. So it's just weird, but I think that it's rich. Like, I respect my ancestors. I think that a lot of people worry so much about Black Americans, and we're always the topic of conversations, especially Black American women. Like, we are always the barometer that everybody's measured against. I'll land.
Okay. I'm gonna go down to True Table. What do you think about Black American culture? What comes to mind? And be honest, man. Don't sugarcoat nothing, man. Don't.
Um, I think at one time we were a very vibrant, rich, solid culture. But I think if you were to go back maybe the last 40 years or so, I think it's a decay. I think it's trash. I think we really are doing what once was our approach to excellence in our ancestors. I think we're doing them a disservice collectively, honestly.
All right. Go to you, Luis. Black American culture. What comes to mind? How do you honestly feel about it?
So, I appreciate you both going before me. I think the current state of Black American culture versus Black American culture that was introduced to me, how I came to view it and see it, it's a little bit like night and day in a sense. I love the music, the expression, the art, the fashion style, the statement. It was the storytelling, the food, the innovation, the community sense. Right, there was a lot of things that was very loud. I mean, mind you, my first language wasn't English. My first language was Spanish. I didn't learn until I came here, and the majority of the stuff that I saw and that I learned was through Black American culture. That was where the translation and the bridge came from, and a lot of the things that I saw and bear witness, I fell in love with because I was like, wow, like there's a lot of amazing things and a lot of similarities. Now, where those things are as it pertains to current modern, discourse, it's a little bit different. I think that it has fallen from what is viewed from its glory days or from its sort of zenith, um, in terms of the conversations. But I think in terms of its power, right? In terms of its influence, it's still there. But I think that the presentation and I think that the unison is it's a little bit eroded. Um, and I hope that it could kind of get back to that same, image that I once, revered when I first experienced what Black American culture was like, right? Not through the lenses of popular discourse on like things that you see on TV, but actually being in community and around people and actually witnessing it for yourself, right? Because people who are on the outside are always curious and learning and stuff like that. And for me, just looking at hindsight, I think the way today, I think the ship is just sailing in the wrong direction. That's just my take.
All right. Go ahead, Miss Danielle. Black American culture. Yeah, I was coming to you. Be your
Why are you
immediate
coming to me
thoughts.
after that? I think Black American culture is the culture. I think I think I know that. I'm very proud of us. I think to know that we've been maybe 60 years in an economy that we were maybe 350 years removed from, I think we're in a great spot. I think because we're so creative and such beautiful people who understand the art of creation, it doesn't seem like we are where we are, but I feel like we're the epitome of culture that goes from Black people within the diaspora or those who are on the outside looking in who have opinions. I think we're exactly where we're supposed to be. And I think if we saw ourselves the way other people see us, we wouldn't be so hard on ourselves. But I also know that how hard we are on ourselves is why we excel, why we exceed above everybody else, and why we're always the topic of conversation. I've never heard YouTubes about Black British culture or Black Dominican culture or anything. Like it's always about us because of who we are.
Got a follow up question, Danielle. Do you think it matters how other cultures view us?
No, I don't give a damn. I don't think they should view us in any way. But that's just my opinion. I think they should close their eyes.
I think that they shouldn't have an opinion. That's just my idea because we don't go around here and do that to other cultures. Like
We're
I
not.
don't go,
We're
I don't
respectful.
go
We're just
around
respectful
and be
people.
like, y'all need to be doing this, this, and this in Africa, and y'all did it. But once they start talking to us, I'm just immediately gonna be like, you fled your homeland. Like we didn't immigrate to this country, so it's kind of like
I ain't gonna say that.
for me.
Not gonna say
For me, it's like, you know, you don't really have a leg to stand on. Yes, we have our issues because our cultures do. Everybody has a degenerate class. Everybody has a group of people that aren't doing what they should, but they don't highlight those people in their communities. They highlight them in the Black community. For example, if a Haitian go out here and do something bad, they're gonna be like the Black man. But if the Haitian go out here and win gold, they're gonna be like the Haitian American. If
I
you
just feel
watch
like
the
I just feel
media,
like
they do that all the time, and it's weird, and it undermines our culture because
I
we're
think
not.
we listen too much. Like fuck. I don't know if I could curse, but honestly, I just be like fuck all that because at the end of the day, you're only talking about us, and you're talking about us for a reason. No one's talking about, and it doesn't matter because it shouldn't matter what they think. I think Black people are very respectful and very nice when it comes to respecting somebody else's culture and maybe participate, like we might go out for St. Patrick's Day, but we don't have an opinion about it. We don't insert ourselves in it. We don't exploit it. We're very respectful people.
Yeah, see, I think that's where we do ourselves a disservice. Just really quickly,
I agree.
we should care about our perceived value as a culture. If we're going to hold the standard of being popular, then we need to hold the standard of where we're not popular. And unfortunately, walking around as a Black man or a Black woman, and you're in a country that you're outnumbered, it holds weight. So to be ignorant and almost pompous, to be like, well, I don't care what they think, is ignorant and it's short-sighted. Can't move a community forward that way.
You can't move a community worried about other communities. You have to put your own mask on first.
I understand both sides of what you're both arguing, but to kind of elevate the conversation just a little bit, what is the greatest thing that Black people export? What is the number one thing that Black people export to the
I think
world?
you should answer that because you like our culture so much.
I'm giving you. I'm allowing you guys to participate as well.
Let me just
Yes, what is the thing that
Hold on,
you
y'all. One mic so they
export?
can hear us. Let's just do one mic. Let's not cut off each other. Let's make sure we have a mature conversation about this. Go ahead, Luis. Finish.
I would like for anybody to answer. What is the greatest thing or the number one thing that Black people export to the world?
nothing.
Influence.
Nothing.
I just feel like
Entertainment.
you should answer. I feel like if you appreciate our culture so much, you should make the statement, not ask the question.
I already have my own position that I'm going to share, but I would like for everybody else to give their own position of what they think and how they feel. You know what I'm saying? I think it just makes the whole conversation that much more richer. I don't want to make it seem like I'm centered and I'm just telling you what it is. You know, I think it's just more of an opportunity to kind of have it. But if you want me to, I think the greatest thing or the number one thing that Black people export is culture and influence, right? Just stop and think about how far the music travel, how far fashion travels, how far certain communication styles. Think how far influence in all aspects, not only in music, fashion, but in also art, but also in other areas. I think, for the brother that first said like we don't export nothing, I disagree. I think that you do export things. It might not be in a matter of a product per se, although there are some. I say, culture and influence is the number one thing that is exported.
It's
Well,
intellectual
I said,
property. It's
I
not.
said
It's
nothing.
intellectual property
said-
is being exploited.
I said nothing because he didn't say exploited. He said exported. We're not exporting as Black people anything. Exploiting and exporting is two different things. So as Black people in America, we aren't exporting anything to the rest of the world. Now, as Black people in America, we are being exploited. And, if I may so answer the question, I think, the Black community is trash, amazing at the same
What?
time, it's trash and it has some aspects that's amazing, about Black people. Black people are strong, we're resilient. So it's some amazing aspects about it. I think it's a culture that's a culture of victimization, some forced and some self-inflicted, brainwashed. And like somebody else said, we're exactly where we're supposed to be, where they want us to be. You understand what I'm saying? The problem is none of us can get on a code like we was talking about a couple panels before. Everybody wants to make somebody feel good about some bullshit that they doing instead of just saying, nah, you wrong. This is what we supposed to be doing. And Black people was some of the most racist people I've ever met. I met like a couple white racist people. You feel me? Like, but as Black people, we've become racist just based off the things we've saw and the things that they've taught us. Because I'm not gonna lie, up until maybe like 2020, I used to be like that. I used to see a white person and I'm not gonna lie, I used to put it in my brain like I'm not, if they say hi to me, I'm not gonna say hi back. If they coming behind me, I'm not gonna open the door. But I was only doing that because I was like, you see this movie? You see this, right? And then I would see like videos of pictures and of them hanging people or whatever. But it just came off being brainwashed. So Black people in America is brainwashed, and we have to stop that and just want to be better and be accountable and just know that other cultures is gonna judge us. That's what people do. We judge other cultures all the time. We can't just be like, oh, just because they're not in our community, they shouldn't have anything to say. I mean, that's kind of a dumb way to think because we're in America. It's a melting pot. We're all living together at the end of the day. Our culture affects them just like their culture affects us. The thing about us is that we promote and we love the worst things about our culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy. It's the cop out to say every culture has its bad ways and shit like that. But yeah, of course, but they not upholding that shit up. Like, you don't see the most famous Asian woman saying, I want to marry a drug dealer. Like, you don't see that. You know what I'm saying? Even though, of course, some Asians do marry drug dealers, they not promoting that. And that's just the thing about our culture. I yield there.
You don't see it because you're not in their business. They do promote that. They have the same. That's what I'm saying.
But that's my point. They don't promote it. It's there. It's just
They
not
are
promoted.
promoting it. You're just not their target audience. We're their target audience. So they see everything we do because we're being held under a microscope. As
By
somebody who
promote it, what do you mean?
they celebrate it. They adapt to it. They have the same things and they are okay with it. And
But
it is at the
see, the thing
forefront.
is, it's not their it's not the perception of them to the rest of the world, though.
Based
You
on
understand
the
what I'm
fact
saying?
they're not the center of our world and held under a microscope to us because we don't focus on them. We have too much stuff to focus on.
See, the thing is,
They're focused on us. That stuff that you say doesn't exist, it's not in your realm because you don't care. You can't say that you've experienced and saw you saw the Asian hip hop, the Asian K-pop awards. You've watched that every year and saw Asian people perform. You've watched it on you're not immersed in their culture the way that there are in ours. That's
okay,
why you don't see it.
I can understand what you're saying, but see, I'm not saying that they don't have it, and there may or may not be some people in their culture that do bad things or
There are a lot of
popularize
people in
bad
these
things.
cultures that do bad things.
But what
I
I'm
don't know why y'all
what I'm
think they
what
so
I'm saying is
But the Asian community, they have the
what I'm saying is
triads.
Hold
They
on,
have
hold on,
the
Aisha. Hold on,
can y'all
Aisha.
not hear me?
I
Can
live
y'all
Hold on,
in
y'all.
Japan.
Hold on, y'all. One mic,
can you not hear me?
How y'all pretend like this is only something
Am I?
that happens
Can you
in the
not hear
Black
me?
community, and
Hold
it
on,
Can you not
happens
hear
Aisha.
me?
on a large
Aisha.
scale overseas.
Aisha. Aisha. Let him finish. Let him finish, and then you can respond. Go ahead,
The thing is, it's not about all that. It's not that this is the only thing that happens or this only happens in the Black community. It's that when you see an Asian man walking down the street, you don't lock your doors. You don't be like, oh shit. Even me as a black man, I'd be like, oh shit. All right, bet. Let me grab the. You feel me? It's a thing. It's a thing. We can't lie. And the thing is, black, maybe I won't even say black, but women, maybe y'all maybe live in this world to where y'all can act like it's fake and it could be all bubbly and shit. But as a man out here in the world, when I see a black man walking in this dark and walking, okay, let me grab my strap because I'm from Detroit. So it's it's a mental thing. If I seen an Asian dude walking by, I'm not gonna grab my strap. I'm not gonna lie. It's just a perception from the rest of the world. They see us that way, and we put that out there. That's all. We put that out there, and it's capped to say we don't.
Would it be a fair statement to say that's due to proximity?
No, can you just realize that you're in your own internalized, and that's being, and let me finish real quick. Just let me land. I think we don't realize how much white supremacy and systematic racism infiltrates us, to the fact that you have internalized hate and internalized violence towards someone who looks like you. In the fact, and you, like you said, it's a mental thing. If you, again, I'm going to say why you said it's a mental thing, and you said it's based on perception. If your perception of your people based on your proximity to Detroit is, I'm not going to lie, I don't lock the door when Asians walk past, but if I see a black man, I feel like I got to grab my strap. That is based on systematic racism.
No,
And the
it's not.
effects,
That's because I see black men saying, hey,
I just said, let me land. Based on, we cannot address the symptoms without addressing the cause. The violence in disassembled communities is systematic racism. The neighborhoods being exploited and extracted based on the fact that Asians were incentivized to exploit our neighborhoods so they wouldn't have access to white capital, but also be able to make their own money. That's why there's Chinese restaurants, Asian beauty supply stores, Asian nail shops. They were able to present as people who aren't violent while committing a huge act of violence against you. So, yeah, they might not be wearing baggy pants, but they're very violent. They're thieves, and they're exploiting you and adopting into systematic racism. So, if anything, you should be ready to grab your strap because they fucked your people over for 40 years. That's what I'm saying. And if y'all don't recognize how deep systematic racism is and how much of our community is being exploited, that when you see somebody who look like you ready to shoot them just in case. But let me take that back. You ready to grab your strap just in case to be on the safe side. But you see somebody who exploited four decades worth of people, and you just like, oh, they good. I'm not even gonna lock my door. That's how we got fucked over, by not being aware. That's how we got fucked over, by
worried
thinking
about
these
and
people
blaming
was cool. They not.
ourselves.
I'm gonna put it like this.
And blaming ourselves for things that were out of our control. I see it on this panel all the time. They do it with women and they do it with black people overall. They are going to ignore completely that there's a system of white supremacy that exists within our neighborhoods and our communities. And
Nobody is disagreeing with that.
That this is our fault. Right?
Nobody is disagreeing that
I feel
white
protected
supremacy.
around black men in my community, as I should.
You should, as a woman.
When I see men that aren't of my community, when I see the Chinese men at the store, that's when I pull my strap because I don't know them.
Man,
y'all got these same people saying, hurry up and buy. They make your kids.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Everybody. Hold on. Ish. Hold tight.
For our people, but y'all really not. It's cap.
Hold tight, Ish. Let me go around and finish with Hing Viz and Da as far as how they view American culture. And I am going to be putting the time up after I go to Hing Viz and Da, just so we can make sure that the mic is evenly getting spread within a decent amount of time. Go ahead, Da Simone. What comes to mind with Black American culture?
I love this question. I always try to remind myself of how I felt when we were little. When it comes to Black American culture, I think of barbecues, I think of double dutch, I think of basketball, I think of snow cones, I think of hot flamings with cheese, I think about stepping music, I think about dance, I think about fighting, I think about guns, I think about drugs, I think about but when I think about drugs, I think about that with a lot of people too, and white people, because they shoot up a lot of stuff. But it really depends on what perspective are you speaking from. Are you speaking from about experience or like what's being put out to the world? I think that it's more people in our community with an empathetic heart than what we think. I think we do a lot of stuff based off of fear. I do believe that the reason why we get so down, the reason why we are talked about the most when it comes down to the bad things that we do is because that's what they decide to promote. And that's all, like, we don't really have control over the media. So we don't really have control over like how people see us. I know people say we do, but if one person decides not to do the job, it's always going to be somebody that's the worst of us that's willing to do that job. As you can see, based on the artists that we have today. But I do think that it's not as bad as what I think. It's not as bad as what we think it is. I think it has more good stuff to offer. And I think the older that we get and we see the bad stuff that's happening, we don't remember it. But I think my children remind me of the positive things that Black culture has to offer every day. Because when I'm around her, we have to act different, and we have to, that's when you really reach in deep and be like, oh, we do have positive things about our culture to offer to the world. And if we focus on that, then I think that's what would shine the most.
All right. Go ahead, Brother Hink. What comes to mind? Black culture.
Man, a lot comes to mind, but I find it kind of funny. Certain individuals made a statement talking about we're not going to talk about other people. We need to focus on us, but yet that the whole time they talk about the other people. We talk about some of the things that's supposed to be positive in our culture, but we heard some individuals talking about lying to our own people, take advantage of our own people, not being upfront and straightforward with our people. But we Black culture is great, huh? Yes, a lie. You ladies call each other bitches and hoes, but that's supposed to be a positive and nice and respectful thing. You got dudes calling each other the N-word, but that's okay. But you ready to fight that white boy? You ready to fight that cracker, that redneck, if he calls you the N-word? Now all of a sudden you're gonna knuckle up. You realize the definition doesn't change. Doesn't matter who says it, what color they are. The definition doesn't change. But now we'll say it to each other. It's okay. It's a word of endurement. We took that word back. Nah, you ain't take shit back. Because if you took it back, it wouldn't affect you when they call you that then. But it does. So how you gonna sit there and say, talk about something, we do this? No, we got a long way to go. So yeah, right now, we are in the trash, whether you want to believe it or not. The Democratic Party used the whole hip hop scene to try to entice you, conjure that some woman of not that's not part of our community, but y'all want to call her part of our community. Y'all want to claim her ass as part of our community. See, that's part of our problem too. We put the white flag and we'll accept anybody and everybody. We'll accept you're sick, you're bang, you're hurt. We don't care. Matter of fact, send you sissy motherfuckers over on the black side too. We accept them too. Well, let me say the men don't, but our sisters will. That's how they get their male and their male testosterone fix. They get the little gay boy to talk to and feel like they got some male. He ain't no goddamn man. He's a bitch. He no different from y'all. He got a split. He ain't got no goddamn dick. He sits down to pee. But y'all claim him like y'all best friends. It's okay, and that's part of our Black culture. And white boys infected that homosexual disease in us, and we accepted it. Just like them white women got y'all out there protesting, talking about, we got rights. We want to feel equal. Y'all wasn't having them problems, but y'all took that white woman's plight and y'all ran with it. And now look at them. They gone off, find them a good husband, while y'all out here on the outside looking in, struggling, crying, complaining, talking about every man ain't shit, while y'all sitting there lonely with that goddamn rose on your nightstand. Wondering if you charged it last night. I'll leave it there, JR, before my time's up.
All right, go ahead, Biz. The question on the table is Black culture in America. What comes to mind?
Yeah, peace to the chat. A lot of things come to mind. and it's beautiful things, and it's some of the worst as well. There was a time that we could go to a barbecue, a block party, and we can kick it all night. But now, them young niggas outside, it's gotten so bad to the point where we almost promote it. We accept the insubordinate actions.
Did he freeze or just me?
Can you hear me?
I thought it was me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start off from the top, Viz.
No, not from the top, just like the insubordinate actions part.
Yeah, just that part.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
It's going slow. He probably
I'm on
got
my
a delay.
other laptop.
Oh, slow. I think he got a delay.
Yeah, he has a delay. I feel like
Hold on, Daniel. Let's see if we can
it's
troubleshoot.
coming in like super slow.
Oh,
He's stopping
hold
and he's
on.
starting.
Okay. All right. So
Hey.
it's gotten so bad to where we're almost promoting and champion these young niggas to the point where we see posts on social media where people are like, oh, the young niggas doing this, young niggas doing that. And it's supposed to be humorous. But yet these young niggas are causing and inflicting pain in our own. But nobody's speaking up against that. It's unfortunate that we have gotten to the place that we've gotten. To Coel's point, realistically, I've never had a white man attack me. I've never had a white man take one of my homies away. But guess who have? Niggas that look just like me. The craziest part about this, and I'm actually I'm grateful that the black women are protecting black men. But just last week, y'all were saying that black men are the predators. Y'all was just saying that y'all would rather be with bears. So to ignore the fact that there are black men out there, black people that do things that are not acceptable, but to ignore that it happens in our own culture, that's being disingenuous.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to this super chat from AP. $5 says, my dearest sisters, I wholly agree with you with much of what you all have said. We have to be honest too. Many of us perpetuate the propaganda. That's on us. Thank you, AP, for your super chat. I appreciate that, sir. All right, I'm gonna go to Coel and then I'm gonna go ahead and start running this clip. Go ahead, Coel.
I think the reason that the woman feel that way is because for the overall majority, they've been protected. So they don't really see it. Up until recently, it's like women and children, I don't want to say they are protected, but up until recently, it's just seemed that they haven't. You know what I'm saying? So 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you know, oh, he with his mama, all right, I'm a chill. Oh, that's a woman, I'm a chill. Oh, that's a child, I'm a chill. So they don't really see it. They don't know what it's like. They used to, when they see a black man, they used to them the most on the majority of them trying to holler, get their number. They ain't trying to, they not used to a black man checking them out, trying to see what they got on, trying to see what's in their pockets. You understand? They not used to that. So they don't really understand it. So I can't really fault them for it. because for the most part they've been protected. That's all I wanted to say, JR.
All right, we did have a couple of super chats came in. AP again, $5 says, okay, my brother Viz, we lead the young men. We blaze the trail for them. We have to own that. That's on us. And it breaks my heart. LD with the 199 says, that Viz, you crazy. It's been wild in LA.
Yeah, I don't know if I can agree with we led the way for them. There's a lot of things that the older generation speaks out against, yet it's validated because this younger generation speaks on how oppressed and the systematic oppression and all this other stuff that, in my opinion, has nothing to do with it. We keep bringing up that we don't control the media. When we do, if we're the ones signing up for these TV shows, if we're the ones listening to the music and promoting it, then who does that fall back on?
Go ahead, Danielle.
Okay, so I think sometimes I feel like you trolling because you just said, and I quote, a white man has never killed your people. And that's not true.
No, he said any of his homeboys.
They are the action
No,
again.
no.
We keep let me finish.
Oh, no, let her
Let me
finish.
finish. Y'all keep addressing the
Well, you
symptoms and not.
you got to reword it because you just started with something
Okay,
that I didn't say.
y'all keep addressing the symptoms and not the cause. The actions are the symptoms based on what is happening. Y'all want to talk about, oh, well, we perpetuating the music that's being played. If you put people in a cage and show them that the only way is to get out is to perform, then they're going to perform because it's life versus death. This isn't fun. So yeah, they might perpetuate the cycle, but the system is the cycle. Yeah, yo people might be getting killed by people in the hood, but the hood is the system. The symptoms are the people killing. White people are in direct responsibility of a man who looks like you being next to you in a disassembled or disenfranchised community doing something to your people. And the
No, that
fact that
Yeah.
when that man said all you got to do is take the mind and leave the body, it's like to hear black men talk about black culture this way. Every last one of y'all got up here and talked about black culture in a way that was not beneficial and did not reflect who we are as a people. And then y'all don't like when women don't want to listen to y'all and follow y'all, but y'all got to have some sense. There's
all right.
nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with y'all. I'm not saying use it as a tool to sit on your ass and not do nothing. I'm saying decenter them, recognize that you are fucked by this system and that it exists, decenter them and then create your own system. But
All right,
stop
so
not
this is the bullshit
stop
that
stop
this is
Hold
the
on,
this is this is
Hold on, Coel.
this is the bullshit that women do, right? Because it's not all bubbly and shit. She trying to say, oh, guys, that we don't see the picture and all of that. You
How
got
you
men up
trying to tell me what I'm trying to say? I couldn't even
no, not
finish.
what you're trying to say. I heard what you said.
Okay, because I didn't finish, but okay.
You got men up here telling you what you got the leaders of the community up here telling you what it's like. And you being shielded as a woman in the community, I'm not saying that you should automatically listen because you don't really know us, but you should take heed. You're trying to disagree with us like head on, like just doing this when we're sitting here telling you the hard part of it. You see the soft part of it. It's cool that you don't see it, but we're sitting I could understand your good part. We get the good part. You heard what I said. I said the black community is trash and amazing. So I take your good part into account, but you have to take our bad part into account. You're just saying what y'all saying is bullshit. Y'all no, that's not happening.
If
Baby
you
girl,
would allow me to finish, though, I would be able to circle into the point. I agree with everything y'all saying existing. I agree with that. I have seen it. I have not been shielded.
Right.
But what I'm saying is,
You just want us to blame white people for it.
I don't care. I want to dissenter white people. When that woman was talking, I said she should. First of all, I don't want y'all to care two shits about them people. I'm saying recognize that this is a symptom of the system. The symptom that you are expressing is valid, Khalil. I want you to know that. Every symptom that is being said is valid, but putting that weight on the shoulders and not acknowledging that is a symptom of a system that is put against you, and that you are telling me, you said out of your own mouth that when you see an Asian, he could get free. He has robbed you, and I'm telling you, white men and Asian men have done more wrong to you, more wrong to your community and your culture than a black man ever has, ever can.
Can I ask?
Point blank, period.
Well, see, the thing is, you're talking about systematically and things that happen in
No, I'm
companies
talking about
and mass
violently.
and mass and violently throughout history. See, the thing is,
No, as
hold
of
on, hold on,
today.
hold on, hold on,
Hey,
hold on,
this
hold
is
on, hold on, hold on,
happening today. Like,
hold on,
y'all
hold on.
fine? Like, what is that?
See, the thing is, this is what men cannot do. See, the difference is the men
y'all
are
probably.
saying, the difference is the men are saying, hey, this is the problem, and this is where we have problems at, and it's kind of dangerous. The women are saying, well, nah, it's not that dangerous. It's a good part and it's a bad part. You got to understand.
We never said it wasn't dangerous. We know the life we live.
No, but see, well, I don't get that. The thing is, y'all are trying. That's the beauty of being a woman, and I get that. I love it. You know, I appreciate the femininity. I appreciate the softness. But you got to understand that there is a bad side, and we can't look at the white people and say, oh, the white people are the blame, the Asian people are the blame. We are here right now, and they've given black people everything that they need now to succeed. We have to figure out now how we can succeed. This is not 50 years ago or 30 years ago or 40 years ago. They've made the laws, they've changed the laws. What else do we want besides reparations?
Can I finish? Because he
Hold
keeps
tight,
cutting me
Danielle.
off, and I
Okay,
just
okay.
want to finish. That's
Okay,
it.
nobody cut Danielle off, and let me get True. Is that you trying to get in? Okay, and then we'll go to True. Nobody cut Danielle off.
I just want to say I'm acknowledging every single physical thing that is happening. But what I'm also saying is ain't shit sweet. And that reaction that y'all have and that quick to go that y'all have is the reason that George Zimmerman exists, but Trayvon Martin
Wow.
doesn't. Is because we do not get as active. And I'm talking, when I say we, I'm talking about the leaders and protectors of my community. Y'all only get active with people who look like y'all. If you telling me for a fact that Asian and white men aren't more violent, inherently more violent than the black men in your community, I don't care if they are YN and they young. That's y'all fault. Y'all failed to raise them boys to be men. Since y'all leaders of the community, any YN that you see, I want you to look in the mirror and figure out what you could have done differently, because that's y'all responsibility. We birthed the babies, y'all raised them to be men. But with that being said, if you not gonna have that same smoke and that same energy for white men who are fucking you over days at a time, every second that the clock passes, and Asian men who don't give a fuck about you, take all the money out your community, put that shit back into their community in your face, and you know what you do? You go order orange chicken from them. You know what you do? You go buy wave grease and fucking do-rags from them. I'll never see y'all have that same smoke. And
Danielle,
unless I see y'all have it, I'm not trying to hear what you got to say about black people at all. I'm not trying to hear it.
All right, let's go to let's go to True Table.
I concur.
Wow. Okay. Kawel kind of touched on it, and I'll try to articulate myself best way I can. What I see, walk with me, is black women, I don't think has ever tried to exist in the world without identifying being black. There's a huge amount of ignorance that exists in our community. If you think that as a small subset of people in a country where you're dominated, that you don't have to align with certain levels of things in order to take upward mobility or infect change. See, there's this idea that we're dominating because we're black and we're loud and we're vibrant and we have style, but you're in a country that you need assistance. The very internet we're utilizing, the cars you drive, the jobs that you covet, you have to participate. And that's one thing I haven't heard about our community. We're a collaborative subset of American culture. Black women generally seem to covet the passionate side of things, but then say, like you said, Danielle, that you want to see energy come from us trying to fight the oppressor, which is foolish and ignorant, because in order for us to progress, we have to, first of all, understand the lay of the land. We have to understand the structure of law, and we have to have direction. And we have to be able to have civil discourse amongst each other. See, I don't see Black men in mass parading nonsense on public forums. I see Meg Thee Stallion do it though when Kamala was running for president of the United States. I don't see it in the same way. So the fact is that we're infighting. There's an inbreeding of sorts, but there's this foolish idea that we can somehow, some way, as a community, move forward without somehow participating with the dominant society. I don't see it.
All right, y'all. Let me get to these super chats. Everybody hold tight, hold tight. Hit the like button if you haven't already, man. The likes are low. Hit the like button. That's all I'm asking. Just the Don $20 says, glad to see you, Lapeef. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Just Don. AP accountability partner. $5 says, we didn't explain the police. We didn't explain why they felt the 94 crime bill was necessary. We failed in many instances, my brother. Sir Art, $20 says, as a Black man that works in technology, there's not enough of us. Plus, intelligence isn't praised in the Black community. Hispanics just pass us in high earners, i.e. 100K and above, leaving us at the bottom. Shout out to the sponsor of the show, AP accountability partner with the $100. These conversations are the reason I donate consistently to this network. Lapeef Jr., great conversation tonight. Thank you, Luis, for not running from this conversation. Your perspective is important. JR, phenomenal show so far. Salute to all the brothers and sisters. Thank you, AP. Shout out to the sponsor again. AP again, $5 says, hold on, my beautiful sister Danielle. You have to accept the Black woman culpability in the state of the things as well. Kicking the leaders out the home. I want to thank everybody has contributed. And again, shout out to the sponsor of the show, AP Accountability Partner. Let me go ahead and start running some of this clip, man, because we'll be all day spinning around on this one. I want to make sure I tap into some of the people that haven't spoken, like Luis, I think Aisha, Hink, Viz. So again, hit the like button, y'all, if y'all haven't already. So this is the clip from last Thursday. This is what sparked this conversation today. I'm going to go ahead and run it. I'm going to do a stop and play.
I don't think you guys want to hear me. I think the panel might not like me very much.
I think that it comes from a genuine place. Like if you know the history.
Oh, it's definitely genuine. It's definitely genuine.
Right. But knowledge would never be genuine.
I would never troll you, and I would never say something just to make people offended. Although people think I do say that, it's not true. I don't say things just to offend people on purpose.
Oh, sure.
But I was invited
I think you program us to look for it when you premise it. I don't think you want to hear what I'm going to say. And everybody's like,
I'm scared because I'm scared. McPherson,
no, speak your mind.
Everybody's like, when you get ready to say, when you say that, everybody get like, you know what I'm saying?
I know. You're right.
Just let it out. You know what I mean?
I'm just scared. I'm scared because as soon as because I know what I'm gonna get is you're not Black. You can't say that. But I'm here, and as an outsider looking in, I preface it with that. As an outsider looking in, I understand I'm not in but JR has exposed me to a lot. Like since me and JR have known each other, he has shared with me so much Black culture. He shared with me Jefferson show, Cosby, and R. Kelly, and what else did you give me, JR? You gave me a few things, but he gave me some. JR have known each other. He has shared with me.
You on mute, JR.
So let me go ahead and speak about this because I didn't say nothing on the show. I don't know what the mirror talking about. I don't know what the Jeffersons even is. I never watched the Jeffersons. I never had a conversation with her about R. Kelly. Cosby, I barely watched Cosby. So I was just sitting there. I was just as shocked as you guys were. I'm like, what? So maybe she must have got me confused with somebody else or something, but it wasn't me that had that conversation with her.
Her other Black friend.
So much Black culture. He shared with me Jefferson show, Cosby, and R. Kelly and what else did you give me, JR? You gave me a few things, but he gave me some things so I wouldn't be so ignorant.
What R. Kelly y'all watch?
Yeah, you R. Kelly out of all the niggas you could.
But he sent me things so I wouldn't be so ignorant. He's like, don't be so ignorant. So but JR has helped me a lot. And anyway, so what I wanted to say was, me with my relationship with you fine people, and then hearing what other cultures say, because I'll tell you guys what other cultures say, and I'll be honest with you, because who's gonna stop me right now from saying it? I'll be honest with you guys. The majority of other cultures that I talk to say that the black peoples are just weak, whiny, lazy, criminal mind. As for the women are concerned, loose, easy, and that's just what a lot of them say. But the reason that they say that is because what they see is something that they don't know the history of the Black community. Of course, they don't know the history. So they see it as people coming here and just seeing, oh, you guys have been here for many generations and you still haven't made something more of yourselves. When we come here and in 2 generations, we dominate you guys. Then we're the ones who are like your bosses. But I understand why. I do understand why. And I understand that because a lot of immigrant families, when they come, it's easier for them to get certain loans and so on and so forth. So I do understand that. I understand that there's history behind that as well. But what I'm saying is, after JR had showed me all the history and showed me a lot of the shows and so on, and then I studied for myself the history, I saw that Black people were so strong and so they made it. Out of slavery, they rose from the ashes and they did so much. And then you see what we have today. And what we have today is nothing compared to what I saw in the past generations of Black people. I think that's what Casey is talking about. And that's why when she was talking, I was nodding along, but I don't know if I should. But coming from my perspective as an outsider, when we see that Black people constantly today, not even back then, but today constantly say slavery, 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 and then they look for the root to go all the way back to slavery, it's almost as if I want to ask you guys, what other community uses trauma that happened to their community from way back when? We have cultures today that have had traumatic events happen to them way more what is it called? Closer to the present than slavery. Slavery 400 years ago. Here we have, or is it 400 years ago? How long was it? No, that was 200 years ago. And then it lasted 400 years, right? Lasted 400 years, stopped 200 years, about 200 years ago, or 100 something. But yeah. So when you see that, we see the Jewish people, of course, they have their thing that happened to them. Then you see the Slavic people who the word slave comes from Slavic people, and you don't see them saying like we have this history of slavery, even though the word slave comes from the Slavic people, but you don't see them today saying that their culture has this slavery ingrained genetic code because they were slaves in the past. You don't see the Romans saying this thing. You don't see any other group of people saying that except Black people. So this is the reason why we see it as weakness, but it could be ignorance as well.
I'm gonna stop it there. Let's go to get Luis in there first, y'all, because he hasn't spoken in a while.
So I wasn't on that panel that week. I'm just catching wind of this now. So I would say this, that I believe she has been greatly misinformed, as many other people have been greatly misinformed. I believe that the public educational system does not do a good job to really talk about the magnitude of how this country was really founded in all the intricacies, right? There's just this high level of this happened, but nothing in great detail, right? And it's not only until you get to the collegiate level or you do your own personal, research and reading, or you have people that you're either in community or proximity to, that you have these kind of conversations, and you end up learning a lot more than what has been taught to you or has been told to you from a young age, right? And sort of, I believe that people who come here have a script that's already been given to them. There's already a script that's already given to them of ideals and things, but not understanding that there's just a greater story behind that. There's a greater story of invention. There's a greater story of innovation. There's a great story of community that has been destroyed in the past, you know what I'm saying, through bigotry, racism, and through a number of other institutional factors. And that has been redacted from the conversations that most people internationally who migrate here do not know and are not privy to. It's only through these kinds of conversations and through other outlets that, you know, they begin to learn. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm constantly always learning. And one of the things that I ended up learning once I got to like college and stuff like that was like, this is an entire history of people. Even when I took architecture history, there was a lot of Black architects that they never highlighted or talked about. You know what I'm saying? Especially the 20th century, you know, coming out of California, right? There was a lot of great builders in that time, and they never talked about it within that context. But it's only when you step out of the prescribed curriculum you start to learn and start to see behind what's the veil available. And I think that's done on purpose. And I understand the credence that, you know, Danielle was given earlier about that. I think it's done intentional, but I also think that if you're trying to understand people and you want to get to know them genuinely, I think you got to go a little bit further than what is sold to you, right? Because it's hard for me to say that I love Black people and I love Black culture, but I don't do anything to go beyond what the surface level is in terms of my research, understanding, you know, reading, comprehension, and just overall historical pedigree, right? In terms of the plight that Black people in in America have gone through, right? I think it would be such a disservice, but yet in school you talk about everything from the Franco-Prussian War all the way to the Jewish Holocaust, and those things are pushed heavier. But the things here have a much greater story, but most people miss it because it's not something that is, you know, pushed to the forefront. There's sort of like the stains that America is trying to wipe away. But I understand why we're always constantly bringing it up. It's for them, it's not for them. Let me correct myself. Black people are trying to make sure that America and the world understands that they're not forgotten, no different than how the Jewish people told the world never again. And sort of, I think it's very important to understand that we see current events even around the world, especially what's happening in Palestine. Do not ever get comfortable with watching people be massacred, because one day that switch and that focus could be on another set of group, and you could be part of that. And sort of this is why challenging the status quo is always very important. And I know these conversations get contentious because people who are not well versed or educated get very triggered very easily because they can't participate at a higher level, and that's what's missing. Are you?
All right, let me get Aisha in there. Go ahead, Aisha.
Amira, she be lying. Like, that's all. I don't know why she said what she said. I mean, I like her, but she's not educated on our culture. She is not, her lifestyle is not contingent to the regular, even Middle Eastern woman. Like the person that's working at the 7-Eleven, the person who family like Fox, her standpoint is flawed to me, period, point blank. I just feel like if you haven't educated yourself, then you shouldn't speak on it, and you shouldn't feel the need to speak on it, right? It's like, why do you feel this need to speak on it? I've never felt, I just haven't I've never felt the need to speak on someone else's culture and what they're doing. Like, that's just never been something that I've ever thought about doing. I've never been like, let me sit over here and talk about the Puerto Rican community. I've never done that. It has never appeared to me. I literally worry about myself and my community and what I can do within my space. Like, it's good to be educated. I was in the military. I traveled the world, right? But my concern has always been me and mine. It's kind of like Issa Rae said, I'm rooting for everybody Black. So it's like I don't have the time to be worried about other people outside of my community, because that's not really what's pushing my community forward. If anything, it's going to continue to hold us back. And I just don't understand why, as Black people, I think Coel said it earlier, why we can't get on code. Like, why can't everybody just be on the same page? Like, we you know, as Black women, we're not going to ignore slavery. We're not going to ignore systematic racism, but we're also not going to ignore that they shooting over there on 63rd. We know that those things are happening too. So it's like, let's look past the conversation and being obsessed. People be obsessed with seeing Black people do bad. Like on the internet, they became like, oh, Jay-Z, I can't wait to see him get caught. Like, Black people be waiting on our own downfall and be happy to talk about it. Oh, Amira's right. Yep, she's saying everything right about Black women, and it be our own Black men. And it's like, some stuff you shouldn't even have to speak on. If I don't have nothing nice to say about a Black man, I ain't saying nothing at all. I am not going to in any way on the internet or in my life do anything or say any within my own community and my own circles. Yeah, those conversations are going to be had, but not on a public platform. To me, that's disingenuous. You can't do the Black people this, they doing this, everything's bad about the culture, but never highlighting the fact that we built this country from scratch. Like, we literally built institutions in this country. Half of the government is Black people. You know what I mean? So to say like we are not making strides and we haven't came a long way, it's only been 100 and some years. My great grandmother was born in 1893. Her mother was a slave, right? That's only 2 generations. So Amira had her timeline mixed up. I don't know what she thought, how long it was, but it wasn't that long ago. I know they show black and white, but they had color TVs. My mom and them had color TVs then. Don't know why they perpetrate like it was so long ago, because it actually was not. And we have done a great job since then. Amazing. We went to NASA. We've been astronauts. We done did a lot that I represent for. So I refuse to just continue to sit in this narrative like we are so fucked up and we haven't did anything. No, we actually made it possible for Amira and her people to come over here to this country. That's what we did.
Aisha, can I ask you a question? Because I often hear you say, we need to get on code. Have you ever asked yourself, why is it so difficult for people to get on code?
Because we doubt ourselves. And we're always questioning what the next person is doing. Just like you, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. I think that collectively, what it looks like to get on code is you don't see white people as a collective, as a whole, tearing each other down on national TV. They just don't do it. They're going to find a way to spin it and everything's going to be okay and we're going to forget about it. Black people going to harp on it it's no redemption, right? So we have to be able to forgive people. We have to be able to have compassion, and we have to all be aligned on a equal goal. And the first thing to me that look like is Black women and Black men actually having these conversations and getting to the root of why we can't get along and cohabitate as Black men and women. But I think that putting our community first, to me, is what I feel like is being on code. So when I say that means when I think about Black Americans, we putting our community above our communities first.
All right, let me go to True and then Hink.
No, well, you answered it, Aisha, so thank you. I was going to ask the same question. I hear that a lot. And again, I appreciate the passion. These conversations are great. I think that it continues to be a very convoluted situation. The topic of tonight is why other cultures lack respect for Black American culture. I don't think we are piecing together our culture in a productive way that is cohesive. That's just my personal opinion. I think that we still allow for the debris to exist. I think we like to stride both sides, because I know educated people who will rep their hood depending on who they're talking to, and then also want the credence of their education and their prowess or their status. And I think that that's where, again, we're still trying to figure it out. We're kind of youthful in this developmental stage due to the fact of what you guys are saying. It's only 2025. We have people have separate drinking fountains, 1950, 1960. But what I would like to see, honestly, is the direction, because I've always been one that stood for, besides being Black, what about being a great human, a great individual, a great person who just so happens to be Black? I don't know why we hold this color that is melanin, because it really is just melanin, and then make it seem like it facilitates some level of power outside of a humanistic, delivery.
It's white people. It was slavery. They programmed us to hate ourselves. Did you not know that happened? Or like you saying, you keep acting like we chose to like say that we was Black. We didn't choose that. That like whether we walk around here and be like, oh, I'm a woman first. No, I'm not, because they don't see a woman, they see Black. Then they say, oh, she a woman.
No, black people decided to call themselves Black in the 60s, baby girl. That ain't white people didn't give us that.
That was one person that decided to coined us African American.
Well,
no. You said two different things. You said African American and Black. You said Black first. Now you just said African American.
No, we want to be called Black American. I'm okay with being called a Black American.
I'm not necessarily
African American.
I'm not saying that it doesn't have credence. I'll make it concise. The way I was raised to identify with character and soul, not skin. That's what I was raised in, because I just so happen to be in a country that has everybody. Just like you, I've traveled abroad. So us being Black is a beautiful thing. But besides being Black in color, what does that exemplify? That's what I want us to focus more on. The education,
I don't get to choose. We don't get to choose not to be Black. Like, it don't work like that, because we're not dominant society. I know it sounds good,
Aisha, but you can't invalidate his upbringing, his experiences. He's telling you.
No. I said, although it sounds good in theory, right? Because that's just like saying I don't see color. That's not true. I hate when people say that, because you do. Okay, you see color. You see it. Okay,
that's because you're trained to, though.
Thank you.
You're trained to see color instead of just saying a human being.
So you don't see color. You just said you trust the Asian man before you trust the Black man. We see color.
That's not about seeing color, though. That's about me knowing the culture. It's not like, oh, a Black man. Like it's about me just knowing the culture. It's totally different.
Sorry.
Well, you preaching like, okay, so you saying Martin Luther King. You that's what you're saying. True. You on your Martin Luther King sticks right now.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, and you're doing it, and it's okay. There seems to be this, and this is what I'm hearing. If we don't give credence to the fact that we're Black, somehow, some way, it's not relevant. Like, you're human. You happen to be Black, but you're a person. You're a female. You're a woman in a country that has a whole bunch of cultures, a whole bunch of people. So you're saying we don't get to choose. That's BS. We do get to choose. You get to wake up every day and figure in where you work, what you wear, how you speak, what you eat in this country. You actually do get to choose, but you also
don't get to choose my race, what's in my DNA, my ancestral history. I don't get to choose that. That is not true. You don't get to choose your ancestral makeup, and you don't get to tell me not to represent that and not to stand in it. When I wake up every day, I am a Black woman. I know that. I love that. I'm comfortable with that.
Nobody is saying that.
Hold on, y'all. Let's make sure we get one at a time.
I'm not walking around here like I'm Superwoman because I'm Black. I've never said that. I think I'm a regular person.
Nobody is saying that. I really think that most of the pushback comes from the woman in the community, because the criminals is the niggas they like. So they don't want us to call them out.
Criminals, so don't speak for the women in the community.
Well, the thing is,
I don't know nobody who do. We don't like criminals.
Cut it out. When women say, if it's not a criminal, it's still one of them niggas. When women say, I need a guy with a little oomph to him, that's what they mean. That nigga that's going not just put her in check, but put a nigga in check when it come to it. They talking about that.
If we can we kind of limit that?
How are you speaking for women? Are you a woman? When
I won't talk. I won't talk no more. Y'all go ahead.
No, I'm not saying you can't talk. I
mean, I want to be part of the culture. It doesn't mean that I want somebody that's out here beating people up, sir.
Okay, I do want
Don't speak for women
I
if
do
you're
want True to land his plane, and then we can
Oh,
go ahead and get some other people involved. Go ahead, True.
I'll say this. A lot of times, what I see within a community is when something occurs, it is immediately attached to the fact that someone is melanated and Black. And it's usually on the side of some level of limitation, defeat, or whichever. Instead of sometimes these equations is that maybe you're not qualified enough. Maybe you're not connected enough. Maybe you weren't prepared enough. And so that's what I'm speaking to, is that we have to stop victimizing the fact that the melanation that we have is limiting us, because it's really not. A lot of us limit us. And I'll land.
I agree with that. I think it should be based on merit and what we bring to the table. That I do agree with.
Can I ask a quick question, brother True? You brought up community quite a few times, and I've been taking a few notes. What does community look like in 2025 for the Black community?
Right now, it's non-existent. In 2025, if you're going to date it, it's non-existent, because community is a collective of families that are acquiescing and spreading a certain regiment, culture, practice. You tend to be known for something. Engineers, farmers, whichever. Right now, there is no community.
Oh, okay. So if you're saying that there's no community, then why is it that getting on code seems to be a very relevant thing that's constantly brought up?
I think that that's something that is said. Okay, I hear it myself, which is why I be asking, what does that actually look like? The time that I can reference where we were on code is when we used to participate in spiritual practices. At one time, our community was very, very structured in a spiritual capacity. We no longer really do that now. I think at one time that was our code, and that also was our culture. Right now, it just sounds good to say, but I don't really think we're on code, to be honest with you.
All right, let me go ahead and finish running a little bit more of this clip, and then we'll go ahead. I'm gonna come right back. Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah, I was gonna say this real quick. I think maybe perhaps community, or how it's viewed, maybe it's evolving from what the traditional cornerstone of how community was once viewed. Would it be a fair assessment that community has evolved into something completely different than what most people traditionally viewed it as?
I think that's convenient when you're speaking about us, because it's not like that collectively. It just so happens to be our so-called community has evolved in a dismantling of how we carry out our lives as a collective.
No, no, you have a point. That's true. But I sit back outside of myself, and I also wonder, has the sense of community also changed for everybody else, especially for all of us who live here in this country? I think community itself, that word in its root, has evolved. I think for everybody at that point. I don't think it's just limited specifically to Black people in the Black community, but I think overall.
All right. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come to you directly after this, Danielle. We got to get Hank in there too, yeah.
Amir, the problem is that's false. There's several places in this world where there's conflicts that's been going on for hundreds of years that they ain't letting up on. The difference is that our conflict is often overlooked. We still have a conflict with this country. Just because it's not as violent as you see what happens in the Middle East or you see what happens in other countries, doesn't mean that we should be able to, that we shouldn't speak on it.
Then leave. I mean, if the conflict is so bad, then leave. You can go to Liberia. Liberia is the same thing.
That's the thing, though. That same argument can be made about any conflict overseas. Why don't you just leave it?
No.
And they don't. Hold on, wait. They
Not
don't
the same.
leave. They fight for whatever they created. They fight for whatever they built. They fight for whatever they feel they are owed. They don't sit there and try to run away And the thing is that I find it extremely disrespectful when people run from the conflicts in their country and then they run over here and then look at us while we're dealing with the conflicts in our country. Let's not speak to, they see us dealing with the conflicts in our country, then say, oh, what is wrong with y'all?
I don't see it as really dealing with it. I see it more like whining, complaining, victimizing. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm saying what I see.
Let me say something real fast. Okay, so slavery, yeah. So it's one of two things, because I kind of agree with what you're saying a little bit. So slavery, for one, yes, happened 400 years ago, but Jim Crow happened just a few years ago. So it wasn't just over with slavery. It did continue. It just wasn't called slavery. Okay, so let's just make that very clear. But I get what you're saying. We have to take some responsibility for the way the world looks at us, okay? Because one, we call ourselves hoes. We act like it. We're on TV. We have our cameras out acting like hoes sometimes, okay? The things that we say is some hoish stuff that comes out of our mouths at times. When everything that she's saying, how they look at us, is because we've done it to ourselves. Listen to our music. That's us talking about us. You understand? That's not another race talking about us. That's us saying it. And then we get mad when they see us that way when we're saying it about us.
How long is it?
I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to go to Hink to Danielle. Go ahead, Hink.
Yeah. Look, I know at the end of the day, it hurts when somebody on the outside tells us about ourselves. We don't want to hear it. You feel like it's a problem, right? I mean, it is what it is. But if that's what it is, it's what they see is what that is. We see it. We talk about it. Let me also say this. We talk about white folks do more to us than anybody. It hurts more if my wife would say something crazy. One of you heifers up here, y'all can say whatever the fuck y'all want. I don't give a shit what you heifers say. But if my wife said something like that, what y'all would say to me, they would hit me in my gut. If my family member would say something crazy to me, that would affect me. Well, that same thing is why if a white person say something crazy about me, I don't care what them white people say. I don't really pay attention to them. But if somebody who look like me is doing me bad, that hurts worse than that white boy saying some crazy, doing some crazy shit to me. Because it's somebody who looks like me, who I don't expect to bring harm or hurt to me. I expect you to show me love because we come from the same side of the street. Instead, we hurt ourselves. We do. How is that not considered hate? That's called self-hate. If Vince go out here and does something violent to me, that's self-hate. I look just like you, brother. Why would you treat me like that? I expect them to do it. That's to be expected. But goddamn, Danielle, why would you do that to me? We from the same side of the street. But you'll be ready to hurt me. You ready to take me out. You ready to do wrong to me. Vin's ready to do wrong with me. He ready to hurt me. He ready to take me out. That's self-hate to me. And that's a problem. And that's why our community is so trash. So when Aisha talked about we need to be on code, yeah, the 60s was good to us because we had a common enemy. We was on code then. Unfortunately, we don't see that no more. I'll leave it there.
All right, go ahead, Danielle. Don't get clouded now.
Man, I'm so sick of like it's just
the white
so
man.
it's not even that. Honestly, when I have to sit here, like I heard Amira say, I did my own research and I found this out. And everybody who responded after her says she needs to do research. She hasn't been given the opportunity to know these things. She told you she looked it up and still formed this opinion, and we accepted it and then made excuses for her. It's like when Harriet Tubman said, I freed 1 million slaves, but I could have freed 1 million more if only they knew they were slaves. Like when Willie Lynch said, take the mind, but keep the body. It's like we operating on fear too much, and we keep punching down on our own people. This lady said some crazy shit, and you know what Shan got on camera said? I get what you're saying. Oh, I just want you to know. No, you're supposed to check them people. Not because you care, but because the question was, why do other cultures lack respect for our culture? Because we allow them to. They get to say the craziest shit in our face, and we get to say, I get what you're saying, and I still like you, but I just don't like that you said no. No, we respect other cultures because they demand that respect and they hold themselves to that standard. I'm so tired of y'all getting on here. Oh, you can't be smart enough for white people to respect you. You can't not be a hoe enough for white people to respect you. You cannot say the N-word doing raps for them not to think that of you. You can't say the word hoe doing R&B and then not think you a hoe. These people don't like you at all. They think you are not a human being. Stop thinking that we have to conduct ourselves in a way that doesn't fucking matter for people who don't like us. To Hink's point, what we say don't matter because he don't give a fuck about us. What his wife says matters because he cares. Then people do not care enough. And the reason that y'all keep saying that there's no community is because you have disassociated yourself with that community and that culture. Not that it don't exist. It exists. It is prevalent. It is alive. It is vibrant. But if you keep saying shit like, well, what about being a human? You are a human. We all humans. But you black first, like Malcolm X said, in this room, we all black. We all black. You could be Muslim, you could be Christian, you could be whatever the fuck you want to be, but you black first. And if you don't want to be black first, you shouldn't be having a conversation about black community not existing because you don't even know it. Because you've dissected yourself from it. Stop punching down on our people so that we can reflect in a way. And the reason that we have issues today and the reason that black women have issues with black men today is because of how we see y'all. Like King said, we see y'all in such a way that y'all don't see yourselves. It's like y'all operate on fear. But y'all not aware or scared of the actual danger. And because y'all have ego, y'all not willing to realize you are a victim. Stop playing victim. You are a fucking victim. You are having your shit handed to you every day. And until you acknowledge that, I'm not saying using it as an excuse, but until you acknowledge you are being fucking victimized, exploited, and taken advantage of every day, we can't go nowhere. But if you got your chest out too bad that people not fucking with you and da da da, no, you are being victimized. What you do about that is important, but don't let ego keep fucking us up and putting us in a circle. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
and I want to say to
Danielle,
Kale
that's
and Hink,
Hold on, Viz. Hold on. Let's get Cloud in there. Daniel, will you finish?
yeah, I just
Okay.
wanted to say to
I think
Kale and Hink,
sometimes
I acknowledge that these things are happening with respect to y'all, and I wish they didn't. I have sons. I have my son's 6'2". I be scared too sometimes. So I acknowledge that they happen, and I wish they didn't. But I just want y'all to start seeing yourselves the way we see y'all. Even though we combative sometimes, I think y'all much stronger than y'all put off to be. And I think y'all are going to be the reason that things change if y'all start acknowledging what's happening. But I'll land there.
All right, go ahead, Cloud.
I don't know, man. I just think it's that thinking that she's talking about to me is a little unfortunate. And I say that because, you know, like I want to say it in the most respectful way, but it's like, from my experience, the only black people that have those experiences that she's talking about are the black people who think the way she thinks. And so it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Black people in America tend to have a lack of awareness of other cultures, but tend to want everybody to be very aware of their culture. And that lack of awareness causes them to do things that violate other cultures without them realizing that they're doing it. So what happens is, now, because of that lack of cultural awareness, what will happen is, like, a black person might walk into an environment or into a community, right? And they may behave in a way that is the opposite of what the standards of that environment of community are. And then when called out on it, or when they receive backlash on it, the immediate assumption is that the reasoning is because of the color of their skin. And I think that as a people, I think we have to come to be able to have a grander perception than just like when we take ourselves out of our shoes and we pretend that we're other people, the only thing that we see when we're in those people's shoes is black. But when we look through our own eyes, we don't only see white. Like when I look at other people, I don't go, white person, Asian person, and they're different from me and they hate me. I don't do that. But we all assume that when people look at us, any negative interaction we have with them is simply because they just hate us based off of the color of our skin. And I think that's very myopic thinking. I think that we overlook sometimes that, and this happens in the media, for example, you see a white guy and a black guy having an argument. And the white guy says, "Fuck you, motherfucker." And everyone goes, "Oh my God, that white guy's racist." Maybe the black guy was an asshole. But nobody considers that maybe the black guy was an asshole. There are black assholes as much as there are white assholes. There are black jerks as much as there are white jerks. Like there are shitty and great people of all races and cultures. And on top of that, I say that again, only the people who have that mentality seem to have those experiences, is because I don't know, like I've been told this my whole life that white people hate me. White people hate me. They don't see me as a human being. And to be honest, I'm looking to find it. I'm really trying my hardest to find these white people that hate me so much. Because in my experience, it's honestly starting to piss me off. If I'm being real, it's starting to piss me off because when I have these interactions with white people, I honestly, if I'm being 100%, I have some of the most pleasant experiences I've ever had in my life with white people. I remember one time I literally just went to go stand by a Trump rally just for the hell of it, just as a joke, like just to see what the hell was going on. I ended up in a conversation with some random people. They ended up inviting me and my friends to lunch. I'm literally pulling out my card to pay, and they're literally fighting me to not pay. Like me and my homegirl are offering our cards, and they're like, "No, I'm not taking your money. Like, no, we appreciate your company. I got you. This is on us. You can get us another time." Like I've had so many experiences with these people that supposedly hate me so much that have been positive. They've supported my business. I literally met a white guy, a friend of a friend last week. My first time at his house, dude cooked me a meal, pour me a glass, literally treated me treated me as a guest in his home. Like some of my black friends don't even treat me. Like some of my black friends, when I come over, they don't prepare me nothing. They just be like, "Yo, grab something out the fridge." He literally treated me like a guest, like how I was raised to treat people. And yet I keep hearing this. And I'm saying this, I'm not saying this to say that all white people are kind or anything like that, because there's obviously racism. Obviously it exists, and obviously there are terrible people in the world. But my overall point is that for us, it's like we have this position where we're always assuming everything that happens to us is based solely off of the fact that our skin has melanin in it. And it's just like when the rest of the world sees it, they see it as fucking childish. Like they see it as immature. And that's why a lot of times we get that disrespect. On top of that, black people have to understand we're not the only black people in the world in America. There are black people in every single country in the world. And they've been able to reach different heights in society. And the ones in the higher levels of society are not having the same complaints that black people in America are having. They're not. When I walk in and do business with white people in certain areas, I don't have that complaint that they treat me different because I'm black. So it's like I'm really just trying to really figure out where are people actually experiencing this, because none of the people I know that actually know white people have these experiences. It's usually the people that don't know any white people, the people that never left the hood, the people that really don't travel like that, the people that never left America. It's those people that are usually the loudest voices talking about how the world, America is so racist and everybody hates black people. When I leave the country, people love black people. Are you kidding me? They literally love us. They literally love everything about us. They want to imitate our culture. They want to get to know us. I guarantee you, if any one of you were to go to Japan right now and just stand in the street, there will be a crowd will form around you of people just wanting to take pictures of you, because them just having a picture with a black person will make them will jump their social status in Japan and China. It literally would jump their social status like 10 times. You literally have Asians
Mexico
right
too.
now changing their hair. It's the big fashion trend in Asia to make their hair look black so that they could look like mixed kids. So this world, our music is the most consumed. When we open restaurants, their lines are out the door with all kinds of people paying double the price that they were paying other restaurants. So I really don't understand where this everybody hates black culture thing is coming from. I really think what it is that people are just tired of hearing a certain subset of black people complain, make excuses, and constantly bring up racism. It's like shitting in the water. It's like, bro, we all are obviously different races, and it's like we all obviously come from different cultures. But every time a conversation comes up, any conflict comes up on the black side, it's always, it's because you're racist. You hate black people. It's like, bro, like people get tired of that. And as a man, it's almost like as a man, when you have conversations with black women and any conversation, it's because you hate your mother. Oh, you're a misogynist. It's like, all right, when are we going to stop doing this and have a real discourse at some point? That's what it comes off as. So that's my opinion on it. I have a lot more to say, but I'm hogging a lot of time, so I'm gonna land there.
Yeah. Got a lot more to say.
So
I think it's.
Can I respond to what he just said?
If I
Because
can
I'm
jump
fixing
in
to
real
jump
quick.
off like
No,
a-
Danielle, you've been going for a minute. Let me.
I just feel like that was
So
crazy.
wait, hold on,
I just
Danielle.
think that was the
A
craziest thing I heard in my entire life.
A lot of what you've been saying, you're saying that men should see themselves as victims. No culture that is going to survive has men that think that way. Men cannot see themselves as victims. There's no way to achieve anything with that type of mindset. That's why we're in a losing state now, because we have women telling men that we're supposed to see ourselves as victims. That sounds crazy as hell. All of these black men that's on this panel right now, nobody here is a victim. Everybody looks like they're in a heated space. They got their electricity running. Don't nobody look malnutritious. Everybody look like they got some bread. Look, clout flexing. we have this beautiful.
See, shining my boy. See, shining. Get the jewels on.
You know what I'm saying? We all have this beautiful opportunity to thrive, and you're telling us that we should be thinking like victims. We should feel like we're victims. That's crazy as hell.
I do want to give opportunity. I do want to give opportunity to respond to you, Viz and Clout, real quickly. But go ahead, finish up, Viz.
That's cool. Hold on. I got one more thing. So the other part too is insane. We expect for people to see us in a certain light, but yet we put out a specific image. Just this couple months ago, we had black women twerking on a presidential stage. Did a white man tell them to get up there and do that? I don't think a white man got up there and told them to do that. It was a black woman. The people that black people are saying is a black woman had black women get on a presidential stage half naked, twerking, talking about my body, my choice. So the fact that black people, that there were black men that said, "Oh man, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable." You know what they called us? Coons. Oh, you a coon. You a Trump lover. You a maggot. Damn, because I have a standard of how I should be seeing my black women. That's crazy as hell. So we cannot get upset of how it is that we're promoting and pushing ourselves to look in front of the screen when we are willingly doing it and openly accepting it.
All right, go respond, Danielle, really quickly.
I think it's so interesting that when he got on this panel, the first thing he did was sometimes black people are motherfuckers and assholes, but white people are the greatest. They bought me food
I
before.
said both white and black.
And then also they're treating you like a circus animal. That's why they pointing at you and taking pictures of you. They don't respect you. They see you as entertainment. They have always seen us as entertainment to be used. That's why they touch your hair and pet you like an animal. That's why when they see you in the street, not because they respect you, but because you are their entertainment and they want to use you as such. That is what's happening. And until we decide that that's not okay, everybody on here keep punching down on black people when the whole panel is asking about why people don't respect black culture. Every single black man on here on my life has talked shit about it. Every single black man. And it's not is and y'all want people to respect y'all, i.e. respect the culture. We can't. Y'all don't even respect y'all self. That is insane to me. And the fact that you point out Megan Thee Stallion on top of a stage, that it's a president stage. That is from fucking white people. Kamala Harris married a white man. She's not even American. When people say black, they talking about black American culture. And stop trying to make it seem like just because I have this opinion. I have been overseas. I have family overseas. I speak 4 languages plus sign language. I'm not ignorant. I am well traveled. I am educated. And I'm not impoverished. But that doesn't mean I have to pretend like the black culture isn't important. Like it's not the most dominant just because people bought you food and took a picture of you in Japan like an animal. That's insane. So
Bro,
I think when I would like to hear something positive. Every single one of y'all black men who got on here, the community ain't real, the shit is trash, white people are better. Is all I fucking heard. And that's crazy.
So I want to kind of add something real quick. Just to just to kind of give a little bit of balance. What Klaus said. I'm also somebody who's well traveled. I've been to multiple continents. I just came back from vacation just a couple weeks ago. I was down in Panama, and the amount of black people that I ran into while I was out there, everywhere I went, doesn't matter whether it was a night scene, whether it's dinner, whether it's just moving around. I saw so many black people everywhere I went. And when I touched down there, it was so vibrant, so loving. I could understand why that's such a huge hub that people travel to, and why it's very big, especially why a lot of black people travel down there. I think too often people get fixated on going to places where they feel they might not be celebrated, or rather just tolerated, rather than traveling to places that they're accepted everywhere they go. Right. And I think that's a disservice that most people do not give themselves. Like once you get out of the States and start experiencing things, like a lot of the things that we kind of get like in the weeds about doesn't really exist outside of just the North American confine. Like
All right, let me go ahead and run some more of this clip.
I got a serious question.
So what
Oh,
I'm
go ahead,
saying
my
to you,
bad,
and
go
I'm
ahead.
not, let me just say this. I'm not taking away what you're saying, Sweeney, because I think that you're absolutely right. But what I'm saying is, how do we expect them to be serious about us when we're not serious about us, right? How do you expect us to move mountains and do all the great things that we are made to do when if people just looking at us as hoes and lazy because we're putting that out about ourselves?
So now, I think the funny thing is that one, black people have a wide variety of music in this country. We've been the birth child of a lot of different stuff, a lot of different music, and they were saying the same shit then anyway. Regardless of because how do you come over here and you don't look at a group of people and see their whole selves? You say, "Oh well, all I saw was this."
So you have to remember.
Hold on, wait.
Okay.
Wait. Sorry. But if we said the same thing about them, they would say, "Why don't you get to know our culture first? Why don't you get to know? Why don't you reach back and learn about us first before you say anything about us?"
Can you explain? Are you speaking to me?
No. I'm speaking about in general. When we have these, I've had conversations where I've seen conversations happen where where Americans, specifically Black Americans, will speak about other cultures, and the problems that they have in their culture, and the first thing they say, or how we feel about them in this country, and they say, hey, look, you need to do a deeper dive into our people before you make those type of comments. So it would behoove me that before anybody comes over here and makes any conversation about who we are as a people, you gotta at least know us. Now, granted, you don't have to, but if you're gonna judge us, you better at least know us. Because then, because I don't hold on, wait. I don't like when people throw stones.
You gotta let me speak too.
I know. I don't like when people throw stones and then hide their hand.
I'm not hiding anything.
I'm not saying you, Amira.
You're talking to me indirectly. It seems
I'm
like
not
you're
even talking to you directly. I'm not talking to you indirectly. If I felt a way about you, I would say that. It's not about you.
She's just saying, saying
you
people who
I'm
think
just saying in
No,
general.
you said people who say something, but my opinion was asked because I'm here. So I expressed my opinion and I gave you what people will say. And I said, I don't agree with that. But you notice the moment that I say something that you disagree with, you're telling me you have no right to say anything. Because you disagree with it. If I say something you agree with,
Hold on, one at a time, y'all. One at a time.
Take yourself out of it. I'm not talking to you.
I don't think he's talking to you, Amira, but we appreciate you being honest about it because I think that's what they are thinking, and I'm glad that you're on this panel telling us what people are thinking. Don't sugarcoat it. Let us know what they're thinking so we can have a conversation about it. Because this stuff needs to change. We have to be solution based. I see it too. I say stuff about us too because I see it. I call people floozies all the time. I'm like, why y'all acting like this? You know, I know better because I know Black people. I know my family doesn't roll like that. I know all the people I'm with don't roll like that. But I can get why if I'm in another country, I've never met an African-American before in my life. All I have is music, which is a universal language. And you're sitting here calling yourself a hoe. You're sitting here calling yourself a bitch. You're sitting here calling yourself whatever it is. What else am I going to say? You're saying about yourself. I'm only going to think what you think about yourself. I mean,
it's the commercial image that's projected to the world. It's our commercial image.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Whether it's a caricature or not, it's a commercial image that's projected to the world. It's not all of us. We know it's not all of us, but it's what's projected to the entire world. Period.
Go ahead, True.
I would definitely like if Danielle's still listening, because I listen to what she says and I do appreciate the fact that she stands strong in her convictions. But I would like to know, if she's listening, how she arrived as Klaus' explanation of the potential experience of a Black man being in Japan and found the negativity of it. She did on two occasions. She's found the fact that we're obviously a clown show, not being admired, but we're a clown show. And then I think she also said something about praising the white man. So I would love if you could explain to me how on both occasions from a Black woman that both examples utilize, you find how we're being diminished instead of being admired.
Go ahead, Danielle. Respond.
I think because of two things. The way that white women interact with Black men is different than how white women interact with Black women. And the way that other cultures' men interact with Black men is different than how they interact with me. And being culturally adjacent to these people and knowing and hearing and sitting across from them and hearing how they talk about y'all, how they don't respect y'all, how y'all don't earn no money, how y'all don't stick together, how y'all think the same way Amir was saying, how y'all separate y'allself from y'all people, that if one person got out, then it's like if you are the exception to the rule, you don't even care that the rule exists anymore. So the fact that I find how hard they disrespect you and how comfortable they are with disrespecting you, when I hear the disrespected giving honor to these people that I know inherently, and I'm gonna say all of them, because they don't care about y'all. Because if they did, I think Black men would be in a different place. And let me say why. I think Black men would be in a different place if these people cared about y'all. It's very clear that based on them not wanting to allow you to have a seat at the table, and them understanding that you're going to continue to blame the people that look like you and not focus on them. And this is coming out of the horse's mouth. So it's like my convictions are passion. I know sometimes I'm like, I know sometimes I go hard, but it's because of how passionate I am and how much I care. And it's really hard when I hear black men, even like Shan just said. Shan was literally like, I say it too. I say it about my people. It's like we show individualism, which makes
So
it
Danielle,
illegitimate.
is it not true? Is the things that
No.
Shan was speaking on? So we don't have women that's loose out here. We don't have
We
men
have
that
women
leave their
that's,
family.
hold on, we do. But again, I will, y'all will keep saying that I'm addressing and creating a victimhood mentality. I empower men, I volunteer for men, I donate to men. I'm actually active outside of these conversations, and I'm more solution based. But right now we're talking about problems versus objectives, and I think that's important. But I think there's more people
Okay.
working towards a goalpost than they are not. But we literally talk about ourselves in front of people who talk shit about us. And when them people go back and sit at that table where them people was comfortable, and I'll say this. If we talk about commercial images, if you older than 27, every single Muslim was a dropped, you know what, all of them. We never treated them people like that, even though that's what the media perpetuated and showed us. We never treated them like that, and we never walked up to them like, hey, was your uncle this? We never walk in their businesses. We never challenge them on a commercialized image. We give them the respect even though they exploit our community.
Yes, we did.
But
Yes, we
but
do.
but let me jump
But
in.
Yeah,
with that being, I'm
All the
saying
time. That's their
so
commercial image.
to your point, True, I think I do that and see that because I hear and see what these people say about y'all, and they are very honestly, it's like they sun you. That you like looking for, it's like you would rather. And I'm not
That's
trying to,
crazy
and I'm
to
not
say
trying to
that.
be disrespectful. I'm just saying from
No,
my perspective, they will sun you, and they know it's like getting daddy's approval kind of thing. It's like you will dissociate yourself from your blackness to be humane, but it's
okay.
like it it's
Uh,
not
you,
doing. I think it's doing the opposite of
Okay.
what you think.
Bro, why you be letting these
hold on,
women
bro.
be up here talking this shit, bro? Just
I got
so
it.
they can
I
feel
got it,
Hold
bro.
comfortable, bro.
on.
I
Fuck
got it.
all that, bro. I was
We
quiet
get
for
it,
too
bro. We
long,
get
bro.
it.
No, no,
I
no,
got
no,
it.
no, 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 no. I was quiet for too long,
I
bro.
wanted.
Fuck all that.
The whole time, like,
I got it,
All right,
Coel.
so
I
don't
got
crash
it.
out
I
now,
asked her the
Corey.
question. I asked her the question.
Wait, matter of fact, you go ahead.
I asked her the question.
I'm gonna shut
What
up some
you?
more. Go ahead.
No. You good. You good, Chief. What you did, and this is my perception. I'm not speaking for any of the other men, because I do appreciate your passion. But you, in my opinion, is the one sunning the very men you say you respect and love, and that's the issue.
Fact.
You cannot tell black men how black men experience other freaking people. You've never walked in the shoes of a black man. You don't have a clue on what it is to exist on a daily basis in this country. And if you're just so happen to be fortunate enough to travel, and I think that that's where I'm speaking to, and I think some other brothers on the panel did the same thing. The opposition is in-house. The opposition is coming from women that look just like you, that are telling us that we're doing something wrong by doing our best to assimilate to progression or growth. And the mere fact that it's viewed in your eyes from, like I said, how did you arrive at negativity when this man said a culture of people who should be scared of us based on our media presence gathered around and gave some level of attention, and you arrived at clown or animal, not king, not prince. That to me blows my mind. And that's the issue amongst our community, in my honest freaking opinion.
she literally physically can't handle king. Like, you can see her body language can't handle the idea of a black man being the king.
I got a question, Danielle. I got a question, and
Hold on.
Aisha too, because I know Aisha didn't agree
Can
with
I get
it.
in this? I have my hand raised the whole time to get in after True. Like, yeah, so
go ahead.
Pretty much, I just wanted to add to what he was saying. Like, again, because she kept saying, you know, they don't care about us. They don't care about us. Oh, they talk shit behind your back. They talk shit behind your back. Newsflash, it don't matter if they care about us or not. That's number one. Number two, newsflash, we talk shit about them too. Have you ever watched a comedy show in your life? We got jokes on white people. We got jokes on Asians. We got jokes on Muslims. We got jokes on Jews. We got jokes on niggas too. I don't know if you've ever had been in a barbershop, but niggas got opinions and conversations on everybody's culture. Like, so this whole, they have this commercialized opinion on us. This is what the ignorance I was talking about. We don't like people having a commercialized perception of us, but we have commercial perceptions of other people. We have ways that we think other people are. We have ways that we think other people behave. If I told you a guy drives a Ford 150 pickup truck, has on blue overalls and a trucker cap, you're gonna probably assume racist Trump supporter, correct? Because you have also a commercialized view. You could say no, but we all know we all thought the same thing. Why? Because we also have commercialized views of people. We have those as well. So it's like, why we keep emphasizing that people have a commercialized view of us as if that's not just a human thing to do, as though that's something that's specific to Black people, is crazy to me. And again, like True said, the problem isn't outside. The problem is within. The problem is that we would be in a completely different place if our women cared about us. Not because you said we would be in a different place if they cared about us, if these people cared about us. No, forget these people. We'd be in a better place if our women cared about us. We've literally talked about being admired and appreciated, and you cringed. You couldn't even handle it. You immediately had to take it away. You immediately had to degrade it. You immediately had to down talk it. Black men consistently, as the leaders of the community that y'all say that y'all want us to be, we consistently get online and tell women what doesn't look appropriate, what is not a proper reflection of our culture, how we do not want y'all to behave to be a reflection of the culture that we're supposed to be leading as Black men. And what do the Black women consistently do? They consistently tell us, we don't care. We don't care what you want us to wear. We don't care how you want us to speak. We don't care what music you want us to listen to. We don't care how you want us to conduct ourselves in public. We don't care who you think we date. We don't care how you think we should breed and reproduce. Black women have exercised on multiple levels that they do not give a shit about what Black men want or Black men's experience. And then those same Black women are consistently gaslighting us and telling us that our enemy are the people of the outside races, when the main thing that's stopping us from building our structure and outpacing those races is being in accordance with you. That's literally the main thing that they have over us. Their women fall in line. That's one of the main things. It is a known fact that our women are extremely difficult to marry, extremely difficult to date. This is a fact. This is known. They have the highest divorce rates in any pairing, any racial pairing, any way you flip it. Black women have the highest divorce rates. That's not because Black men just don't like Black women. That's not what it is. It's that y'all have this programming in y'all that y'all will not give up. And y'all are still focusing on this Black thing. Black. Oh, Black, they don't like y'all. We're literally trying to get to the wealth. We're trying to get to the corporations. We're trying to get to perfecting language. We're trying to get to owning property. We're trying to get to trusts and using this system that we're in to take advantage of it instead of letting it take advantage of us. And y'all are just sitting there telling us what we can't do. Oh, you can't have shit because you Black. Really? Well, tell all these wealthy motherfuckers that, because there's a million wealthy Black people that have a lot of shit. You keep telling me, an American-born Black man, I can't have shit, and then Matulu comes the fuck over here from fucking Nigeria, and in 2 years, Matulu's able to become a fucking millionaire, and his family is falling in line. When Matulu says, my daughters don't dress this way, guess what? They don't dress that way, and that's why Matulu's daughters all graduating college with high honors and becoming doctors and lawyers, and a lot of the kids in the American Black community aren't doing that. So really, instead of the Black women telling us who we should like, who we shouldn't like, who we should be afraid of, what we should be scared of when we're the ones dealing with the police and we're the ones fighting these battles, how about y'all just do what we ask y'all? How about y'all focus on the stuff we ask y'all to do? How about y'all focus on tackling the problems we need y'all to tackle instead of worrying about our shit? Instead of you worrying about how I drive the car, how I deal with the cop, let me deal with the police officer. Don't tell me that they're gonna kill me. I'll talk to him. Just be quiet in the passenger seat and make sure I'm fed and healthy. How about that? How about stop feeding your kids candy? How about stop buying the damn kids juice? That's what's the enemy of the community. There ain't no white man sneaking into your house to keep giving your baby, juice and candy. There ain't no white man sneaking in the house to have your 10-year-old listening to fucking Sexy Red. So stop it.
I know. Let me get Isha in there, man. We got 2 women on the panel. Isha, you want to get in there?
I just think that we're doomed. Like, I just think we're doomed. Like, I just don't understand the concept of the worship of a black man. I almost feel like Clap sound like Samuel L. Jackson on the Django. Like, I just don't know what's happening for you to want this much praise from a white person. Like, I have traveled the world, and they're super nice to black people. They always are. And I don't care. I'm super nice to them. It still does not change the fact of who they are. And them being nice to us in Japan ain't got shit to do with what's going on over here in America. So I don't even know how we correlating one to the other. Like, yeah, of course they're nice. I've traveled the world extremely nice. I've had people give me their plane seat. And I still be like, okay, goodbye. I got to go home and deal with what I have to deal with in my own country. Because to me, what matters in my community is what's going to move us forward. So I don't really correlate one thing with the other. White people are nice. Some of them can be great. You know what I'm saying? I've never not said that. I'm not saying every time I walk in a room, somebody being racist. I've never had that mentality. I don't feel that way, like at all. But I just think, to Danielle's point, systematically it has oppressed us. And so we're just like, okay, acknowledge that. We're not telling you guys to be a victim. Like Cloud said, we have billionaires. We have Black Americans that have built industries in this country, right? Successful industries that are thriving, and they've done amazing things. So for y'all to sit back here and not have anything to say, and then again, we go back to it's the Black woman's fault because we're somehow not listening. We're not listening to you, Cloud, because it's not making sense. We don't want Samuel L. Jackson off the Django. We're not following someone that gets excited because a white man gave you a free fucking meal. That's not exciting to me. What's exciting to me is seeing what you're gonna do and who you're gonna stand on business in your own community. Like what I do when I work for my nonprofit and the work that I do. Like when I respect people, I respect what they're doing for their own community and the things that they can effectively make change in. Not somebody who's always downing the community, but not really affecting any real type of change. That's not helping. This commentary is not helping the Black community whatsoever. We know what our downfalls are. We know what we need to work on. We need to be talking about how we get there. And it has nothing to do with us listening to you, Mr. Django. It has everything to do with us coming together collectively and listening to each other. Because we all have different points. We aren't Black men. Y'all aren't Black women. We experience life differently. So I think it has to be a collective thing.
I think it's interesting.
All she did was belittle, dismiss,
hold on,
and
Clout.
discount my learned experience and try to insult me, which literally proved my point. I literally said that all Black women do is hit us from an adversarial standpoint, and everything she did, rather than try to find common ground, rather than try to find places that we could come on the same accord, what she did was she tried to insult me, basically called me an Uncle Tom by saying the thing on Django. So you're basically saying Uncle Tom without saying it. And it's like on top of that, it's just like on top of that just shows your intellect, because if you actually read the book, you would know Uncle Tom's the hero in the story, and what you mean to say is a Sambo, but you're not even at the level.
I literally put that you are a Sambo in the chat.
Because like other Black women, you're just speaking, you're staying on code and just regurgitating things you've heard before, like Uncle Tom, without fully conceptualizing or understanding what those things mean. You just spew them out. And what was the only purpose of you doing that was to insult, to belittle, to dismiss, and to mischaracterize my argument. And that literally is the point right there. You are proof of why we have this problem. I don't have, see, when I'm, hold on, stop. When I'm talking to people of other races, the irony is, hold on, when I'm talking to people of other races, my enemies of other races, these people that supposedly hate me, they don't disrespect me like that. They don't call me out my name. They don't call me, they don't disrespect me for having opinions. It's when I'm talking to my black women like you, the black queens that are supposed to uplift the black man and supposed to fall under the black man's leadership. It's the black woman that disrespects me and tries to call me an Uncle Tom and a coon and all of this stuff. And you're laughing when I see, that's another thing. I'm here talking to you seriously about disrespect, right? And here you are laughing in my face, which shows the respect. Hold on, which shows the respect that black women have for black men. Because since I've gotten on this panel, and you keep disrupting me, and since I've gotten on this panel, I have not interrupted anybody. Hold on, since I've gotten on this panel, I have not interrupted anybody, nor have I disrespected anybody.
You
yet
interrupted me, bro.
You still consistently want to do it. So you got it. You got it.
All right, hold tight. Let me get to these super chats. Everybody hold tight. BZ, $2 said JI had her watching Roots. Shout out to Hinky became a member. Welcome to Green Gang. Brother Hink. Just a Don $5 says you rambling low key. Just a Don $10 says not this time to be praising, just saying. Successful MD $2 says who is twerking everywhere, the men or women? We on Lock Nation. How are you king without a country? Riddle me that, Batman. AP Accountability Partner $5. AP is also the sponsor of the show. Stereotypes versus culture. Clout, you missed on a few points, brother. This started out as a convo about culture and divested into black men versus black women. Ikene, $5 says a community is doomed when the woman don't respect men. If a black woman hits a black man this way, it will be difficult to fix what's damaged. I did have like one more clip that I wanted to run by, which is
wait, hold on before that.
Hold on,
move on, JR. I just got a question.
Well, this question is going to carry on, and we are already getting towards that time.
Man, I'm finna start pulling the clout, man.
Up on the back end. So this is about ratchet behavior. We're gonna run this clip.
Black women have the support of a massive group that participates in ratchet behavior and ratchet thinking. A massive group. Now, white, Asian, and Hispanic clients, they got ratchet people, but they don't have a massive support system of ratchets. They don't have the same support. That makes a huge difference. Because if you're going to be ratchet in Asian, especially, if you're going to be ratchet in Hispanic, if you're going to be ratchet in white, you can do that, but they don't have a safe space for you. You can do that, but you had to go away from the group to do that. They don't house you. They don't nurture that. The big groups of the other groups rejects it. The black community, the massive group, accepts it and nurtures it. It's totally backwards. Rather than sending the ratchets away, the massive black groups bring the ratchets. There's a safe space for them. Other groups don't have that. So it helps black women to continue the behaviors. When they're confronted, you look like the minority because you are the minority that confronts that culture that is counter black culture. When you confront it, you're the minority and they're the majority. This is the only group, this is the culture where the ratchets, the ghetto, has the power socially. The nerds, the high value minded people. When I'm talking about high values, I'm talking about pro-social values. I'm talking about generosity, respect, honor, faithfulness, kindness. I'm talking about community. I'm talking about high values, your way of being. So the people like us, we in the black community are the rejects. In other groups, though they're the rejects. In other groups, the ratchets are the rejects. In other groups, that's for entertainment for them. They go home doing the right thing. Feel me? In other groups, the smart people are elevated because they know you're the key to our progress. In our group, the smart ones are rejected and they think you trying to oppress them. It's interesting. You so backwards. You think we trying to oppress you. We trying to free you. You trying to be such an individual, you don't know how to be together. You think we want to crush your individuality. No, we're just trying to be a family. Come on. So it's the only group where the ghettos, the ratchets got the power. Well, folks, it's about time that we flip the scales.
Go ahead, Coel. Viz, go ahead. If you gonna comment on this, we got that question. I want to come back on the back end, so I want to throw this off. We just played this video.
Yeah, no, this actually goes right into what I was going to say.
All right, go
Every other culture, even with white people, you have suburban white people, and then you have trailer trash. Both of those white people have a character. We're fully aware of those characters. The suburban white people, they don't align with what the trailer trash people are doing. But somehow, out of all these other cultures, just how she spoke about, but somehow out of all these other cultures, Black people are the only culture that's supposed to all be in tune, and we're all supposed to agree with the ratchet shit that's going on. And we don't. What's crazy is that, and I've been in and out of the conversation, but what's crazy is that nobody else, none of the Black men on here brought up white people. We was talking about what was going on in the community that we were doing. The two young women, Black women on the panel, they brought up what white people is doing and how white people oppressed us. So what? We have to figure out what's going on and how we can fix what's going on here first, so that they can oppress us. They can oppress us because we're not standing in alignment of understanding that we don't agree with these people, so we don't align with them. So we're going to put a clear line in the sand and say, if that's what you want to do, you stay on that side. But this is what we're going to do, and we're going to create the image that we want the culture, other cultures to see. But that's not the case, because if we don't, then we're Uncle Tom's, we're Samuel L. Jackson on the Django, we're all of this other shit. And it's like, no, bro, we have a standard that we stand by, and that's it. Clearly, there's no standards on that side, because we're supposed to embrace it, and which makes no sense because no other culture does that.
All right, let me go to Coel, Hink, and Luis because they haven't spoken in a while. So let me get to them first, panel.
I agree with the women, man. They right. They got it.
Okay, go ahead, Hink.
All right, damn, short and sweet. Sometimes it's like it. Let me say this. So what that lady was saying in the video spoke a lot of truth to our community and what we're dealing with. Lil Pookie could get a coming home party. It's sad, but it is what it is. But our college graduates, man, y'all not out there supporting. Even if y'all don't know none of the kids that's going across this stage, we ought to be out there in droves supporting these young Black sisters and brothers, man, for deciding to go to do and get a higher education, get their college degrees. We ought to be out there in droves celebrating them, giving them gift cards, little gift cards, let them know, hey, man, congratulations. Hey, young lady, congratulations. Give them a little something, to help them try to push them on and forth in life and show our level of appreciation. We don't do that. But please leave at that little Nuts potluck. You're going to make sure you bring the potato salad with the raisins in it, that nasty ass macaroni and cheese with little cheese. You're going to bring all that. That soggy ass fried chicken you're going to be cooking. Y'all going to bring that too for Nuck because he got out of jail. He's tired of that prison spread. He wants some real food. Y'all gonna put it together for him. But little Tony, man, he just walked across grade. He made the dean's list 3 years straight. He walked out there with a 3.5. Y'all celebrate him now. Y'all had no idea he had a job until he became a manager at one of y'all companies. Now all of a sudden you want him to hook you up. You looking for the hookup now? No. Tell Nuck to hook you up. He probably got a package you could sell on the corner. Go on, get with him. You celebrated his sorry ass when he got out of prison. Go on, get with him. But that's what we do. We glorify the bullshit. We glorify the bullshit. And I think it's really talking about some of the stuff they put on television. We support it. We watch it. We talk about it. You be at the water cooler talking about, girl, you see what happened on Love and Hip Hop last night. You see what happened on the Huntsville, Alabama. You see what they was talking about on what's it, LaJuski show. Man, come on, y'all know what it is. But we support that degenerate stuff. We okay with that degenerate stuff. We don't speak it against it. We see young men walk around in these cities with their pants hanging out. You see the whole goddamn drawers, the whole ass is showing. Y'all say, hey, young blood, why don't you pull your pants up, man? That's not credible. We're not worried about our public image. We could give a goddamn. I went to Kroger's on Sunday, a young lady walking there with a whole bathrobe and some pink slippers. Only thing she needed was a goddamn body. And she looked like she getting ready for bed. But you in a Kroger. What we doing? Why? Because we don't care about our public image. We're not worried about how we looking at these streets. We're not worried about how we present ourselves. We not. And the sad part about it is nobody's going to say a word. We're going to say something, but we won't go by, young lady, do you think that's the appropriate thing to be wearing while you out public? No, we're not going to do it. We heard your girl say something about the sisters wearing pajama pants and bonnets at the airport. Y'all, man, y'all try to cancel that, brother. I mean, y'all try to cancel that sister. Y'all try to cancel homo nigga. Y'all say, you don't know what you done. You don't know what you're doing. You crazy. You didn't tell who gonna check us. But that's the crazy shit we promote. We go with it. You can't look at the mothers because the mothers doing the same goddamn thing. Matter of fact, the grandmother's probably doing it. They right there with them, doing that bullshit and think it's okay. No, it's not okay. Because it makes us look bad as a whole, even though we may not care about what other people think. How about what we think as a whole? I think that shit's trash. I think that shit looks bad. Why are we doing this? Son, why is your pants hanging down to your goddamn ankles? That's not okay. You know what that is? That's that prison mentality. That lets us know you ready to get your ass taken. You ready to be somebody's boy toy. That's what that prison shit is from. But ain't none of y'all sharing it with them. They think it's cool. No, ain't nothing cool about it. It's trash. And that's the shit we need to clean up. That's the stuff we need to make better. That's the stuff we need to work on. Working on our public image. I'll leave it there.
All right, go ahead, Luis.
There was a couple times this evening that, the comment of where doom was brought up. I don't believe that after so much trials and tribulation that the Black community is doomed. I don't believe that. I do think that there is a correction that needs to happen, right? I think that there is a coming to Jesus moment almost. But I mean, like everything, it can be fixed. Everything can be rewritten. Everything can, sail the course. The only thing is that are we all willing collectively to throw the culture out the window? Everything that Hank talked about, right? Are you willing to throw away all those things that people kind of value and hold close to out the window and really start afresh? Like every day that we wake up, man, is a new opportunity to learn, grow, evolve, etc. Right? Every single day. I don't believe in that things are over. It's only over until it's really over. But I just think that it's gotten to a point where divisiveness has been such a key pivotal way of communicating, and we see it everywhere. We see it in our we see it in our political system, right? When we have presidential debates or city council or any things of that nature, right? You see people really, really trying to spill it apart. But I think that at some point, people have to really realize that you need each other a lot more than you don't. I think individualism at this point is starting to really, really show its head, and that it's not working. Like, look at the last 10, 15, 25, 40 years. Has it been working? Like, ask you that. Like, that's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And if it's not working, then what has to go and what has to change? And I think that's a conversation that people have to really ask themselves every single day and kind of start from there. How you?
All right.
Hank, you know the scary Hank, the scary part about it, I forgot what city it was, but there was a law that they were trying to pass to where it made, if you were walking around sagging your pants, it was a fine, right? It was illegal. And what did the black community do? We said it was racist. We said that it was racist because we don't want to create a standard. We felt that it was going to target us. I'll never forget. I went to STK downtown Chicago on Mother's Day, and this was around the time that they were, the restaurants was enforcing these dress codes. And there was this black woman that came. She was standing at the door, and she had a shirt that said something like, "It's my birthday, bitch." Big as hell, full shirt, and they wouldn't let her in. What did she do? Oh, they racist. They won't let me in. They racist. They racist. No, you're wearing something inappropriate in a place where this is not how we dress in here. But instead of going home and changing her clothes, instead of coming out being dressed decently, she jumped on her cell phone and pulled out her camera to say that what they was doing was racist. We gotta stop doing this. Forget what other people are doing, what they think. The inside of our community, the loud, the not so loud, is saying that we do not agree with this. This is not cool. I was just in the Apple store today. It's a plethora of different cultures of people in there. One black woman with a bonnet on. Why? Why you got a bonnet on in the Apple store in the middle of the day? It's 12 o'clock. So if we can't criticize our own people for dressing and coming and conducting themselves in the way that they are, how can we get upset that somebody else is doing it? Who else is going to do it? If we not checking our own people, how are we going to expect for other cultures to be like, oh, okay, well, it is what it is? That makes no sense. We have to be proactive about this.
I think you're right, Viz. I mean, even when it comes to things like wearing a do-rag, right? Like I like wearing my do-rag like anybody else. And it's like, we all like to wear our do-rags, but I was raised, and which I thought most black people were raised, like, you don't wear your do-rag outside. Like that's not how that's not how I was raised, at least. So when I see people with their do-rag outside, to me, I look at that like, bro, why is your do-rag on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a hat. Like, what are you doing? And it's like, we've gotten to a point where people, it seems as though a lot of people in our community think that any standards at all are like racist. If I say you can't wear Timbs in this club, it's like, or no construction boots in this club, it's like, oh, you don't want black people in the club. It's like, no, white people wear boots too. If I say I don't want sneakers in the club, oh, you hate black people. No, white people wear sneakers too. You know, we just don't want sneakers in the club because this is the tier of the environment. And I just think that we gotta get a little bit more cultural awareness to understand that. And to reference back to the video, what she's talking about in the video is something that Thomas Sowell talks about all the time, which is how, again, most other communities, they have learned to ostracize their low-level behavior. And usually the low-level behavior, unfortunately, comes from people with lower intelligence, right? So other societies have learned to align the higher intelligence people at the top of society and give them the power, and to align the lower intelligence people at the bottom of society. In our community, and this was me growing up, right? All the smart kids got made fun of. It's not like that in other communities. Like the smart kids don't get made fun of. Like the people who speak the language proficiently don't get told that they're talking white in other cultures. You know, they get applauded for being able to speak the language proficiently for their skills at the English language. With us, it's, oh, you trying to sound white. Oh, you're a nerd. You're corny. You're this and that. And it's like, we have to change our cultural perception of ourselves to the point where we're okay with true excellence. Like, yeah, it's okay to like being intelligent. It's okay for the nerds to be at the top of society. Like, we don't have to let the lowest levels of society control us socially. But I'll end there.
Can I
over there? Can't hold it in.
Like it just breaks my mental understanding, borderline like my heart, that like I have had, it's 10:50 and I have watched black men talk about all of the symptoms and say that the only empowering thing that we can do is not focus on the cause and not use the cause as an excuse. Every single thing that y'all saying is so valid and I agree with it. But who told you that there was a problem with the bonnet and not a hijab? Who told you that there was a problem with a do-rag versus somebody wearing some on the top of their head? Y'all police everything black people do. And and my problem is everything's a laughing matter when it becomes, why is there a problem with a bonnet?
Isn't a bonnet is not part of cultural garb. Even in our culture, even in our culture, a bonnet is specifically a product, is for hair care. In most cultures, people don't wear hair care products.
Oh, okay, you just said stop worrying about the outside culture. Inside of our culture, if I have a bonnet on my head, he said one mic. If I have a bonnet on my head outside and it's raining, I'm trying not to get my hair wet because I have a different hair texture than people. Not because I want to go to Kroger. I also want to talk about the fact. Let her finish,
y'all. Let her finish the same way she let y'all finish, y'all.
I also want to talk about how every chance y'all get, y'all are talking about what we doing wrong and landing at, but it's about what we gonna do differently. Hink is talking about nobody walks up and tell these people, hey, excuse me. Everybody donating to jail people and not donating the money. We are perpetuating the same trope from the outside perspective, and then y'all want to use the same trope. They make fun of nerds. There's so many black people in our neighborhoods and in our schools that are being streamlined to make sure that they get the correct ACT scores, make sure they get the correct scholarships, make sure they go to the correct schools, doing prom parties, send away parties, trunk parties, to make sure that these kids get tissue, toilet paper, soap, everything, and even other people rent cars to make sure that them girls or boys get to college. There are people doing that. Nobody has highlighted the benefit in the community that we actually associate with. Every time y'all get on here, y'all talk shit. Just like that lady and Viz said, there are going to be outliers in every society. Black exceptionalism is a tool. It's not something that we should embody. There are people who can just be. Everybody don't have to be a monolith, be educated, have they suit and tie on, and presenting a certain way. Like you said, we human. In human society, there are going to be tiers and hierarchies within those certain group of people. And we cannot all be expected to make sure that everybody is in line for what? There are a lot of people on here, all of y'all, and I will say there's a lot of people on here. But stop expecting leadership and confusing that with blind obedience. Leaders are okay with having advisors being challenged and being asked a question. Dictators want blind obedience. I need you to sit down in a car and be quiet and let me handle it. Leadership comes from trust. I have to trust and test that you are willing to make sure that I am safe and secure in your ability. And if all I got to do is listen to what you say and I'm just going to figure it out, no. You got to be tested. You got to be hit in the chest, not by me, not physically, but I got to see that you are worth blind leadership and I'm willing to jump off that cliff. But if I can't even ask you a fucking question without you talking about how, oh, this is how black women is, this is the problem. And stop saying that she made demeaning comments to you. You literally said the way I'm sitting, you could tell I ain't never been in the presence of a king. Several I have.
I never
But
said
also
that.
I
That's a
wish
lie. That
you
the
also
survey says that's a lie.
Let her finish, y'all.
also also black men have to understand that all of y'all, and I do too as a woman, everybody it's the same facet as too many chiefs and not enough Indians. All of y'all not leaders, and that's okay. Y'all could be leaders of y'all households or of y'all um group economics or something, but everybody isn't a leader. And in the expectation to be looked as a leader without being challenged is childish. And judging a black woman's worth on based on whether she believes that you are worth leadership is bullshit. Go lead another. There are other black women. This one just said you're not a leader. That's all. I don't judge all of y'all collectively. I don't judge all of y'all on one standard and one monolith. I disagree and agree with several things that y'all said on the panel, but I'm not talking about black men, black men. Y'all want to know why we have divisiveness in this community? Because there's no respect from black women to black men. We don't respect y'all the way that we should, and that's because we see that no one respects y'all. And that's a conversation I think we should have. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but globally, economically, even in America, we not seeing y'all getting the respect that we believe y'all deserve. And then y'all come home and expect us to have it. No one, if we see that everybody is out earning y'all, we see that y'all don't have control over the boys. And I'm not being funny. These are really systems and things that I would like us
It's
to talk
y'all
about.
that don't respect us based off of your own
Danielle,
comparison.
you just compared a bonnet to
I would
a
like to bet
hijab.
I'll land in 2 seconds. I'll land in two.
come on
I
now.
will
When you
land.
gonna
Come on
land
now.
though?
I will
I mean, you
land
don't
in
never
two.
put a period on shit.
I will.
God
I
damn, put
will.
a period on it.
I will land in 2 seconds.
This is why we don't need female presidents, no female leadership, because this bullshit ass rhetoric right here, man, you ain't for us. If you for us, fuck you. We don't want you on our goddamn team. You ain't for us. How you for us, but you gonna sit there and talk down to us black men? How
Where
you
did I
say you
talk?
for us? We don't need no. We don't need women like you on our team because you're not
Where did
for
I
us.
say
I'm
I'm
talking
not?
about
Where
you
did I say I don't like y'all?
because when
Well,
you
for
make
one,
the
you
statement of
completely
And
mischaracterized.
I also said let me. I
Let him
also
have it.
said,
Let him have it. Let him have it.
I also said let me
You
land
said,
in
when
2
you said you
seconds.
disrespect us when that white man disrespect. That's all to be more of
That's
a
not
reason
what
why
I
you should fit on my team.
said.
But you're not that's exactly what you said, man.
That's
You're
not what I
not
said.
for us.
All right.
You're
Hey,
part of
let
the
her clarify.
problem.
Let her clarify
You
what
are
she
the
said.
worst enemy as a black man can ever have.
She said, I said she never been in the presence of a king.
I
And what
said
she specifically said
I
was,
will land. Okay, if you didn't say that, I apologize. I misheard you. So if you did not say that, I apologize. I misheard you. I thought you said you could tell by the way she's sitting, she never been in the presence of a king. If you did not say
something
that,
close to
I
that.
apologize. So we can move forward. I was wrong. I'll yield and concede to that. I am saying I have heard several black men speak on black women outside of True, I believe. I've heard several black men speak on black women and the divisiveness within our community. And I am telling you, as a black woman within that culture and community, there's a harsh misunderstanding between us and things that I think need to be addressed. Not that I agree or disagree with them, but I see that there's a lack of respect. And I think you got to understand, if we all humans and we all animalistic, if 100 people running towards me and nobody cares about what you think, everybody has more money than you, everyone is more educated than you, everyone is building a home and a community better than you, it would make no sense. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It would make no sense for me to pitch my tent here, which would then cause a disruption between a balance that we should have, that I agree that does not exist. But if y'all want the women to respect y'all, women need security and provisions. So we need, and we also need to feel protected. And if the world don't care about y'all and we operate in the world, it would be helpful if we saw y'all being respected. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying y'all got to play the
Look at you and
banjo, but
nice
it would
answer.
just be helpful.
But that's not what you just described. What you
I
described is
I
not. Let me finish. You
clarified.
just
I
landed. You just landed.
clarified.
You just landed.
I
But all right, you just landed. I'm
okay.
responding. What you just described is not that the world doesn't respect us, because what we're telling you, we're literally sitting here telling you that the problem is not that the world doesn't respect us. The problem is that when you compare us to everyone else, you don't respect us because you are valuing us but based off of material things and based off of material wealth and based off of what other cultures have accumulated. So the problem is not that the white man looks at me having less money and says that I'm less. The problem is that when you as a black man looks at the white man with his more money and then you look at me with my less money, you immediately in your mind decide that I'm of lesser value and then decide in your mind that I'm not worth respect and leadership, because what you want to respect and be led by is the wealth. But the problem is not that, but I am a black man. Hear me out, Danielle. I am a black man. I'm not having that same problem with all those other people that you're talking about. The rest of the world that you're saying disrespects me, I'm telling you, my experience that you're telling me I should be having, that's not my experience. The rest of the world respects me highly. When I speak, people don't interrupt me. Hold on, stop. When I speak, people listen. They don't interrupt me. When I give my opinions, people value them. The rest of the world treats us as black men like that. When we go everywhere else, we're respected. It's when we're amongst our women. It's y'all that don't respect us because y'all, again, like I said, y'all look at the achievements or the physical wealth that other people have, and you compare us and say, oh, this guy has a Bentley. They're driving in Bentleys over here. We like Bentleys. He doesn't have a Bentley yet. He's not a man. Let me go to where the Bentleys is at. And you guys keep saying, no, well, I don't see y'all have it. Where y'all Bentleys at? But then in the same breath, right, that y'all tell us that where our Bentleys at, right? In the same breath, y'all say, oh, well, y'all are oppressed. So then maybe if that's the case, right, then you should kind of understand why we're not respected in the way that you say we should be, right? But and yet still y'all don't give us the respect. You constantly when men talk about leadership, I don't hear black women giving reasons why they should follow men's leadership. I don't see them saying, you know what? Yeah, I never hear them saying, you know what? You're right. A lot of men do have good leadership skills. I always hear them defer to the worst case scenario. Oh, these men aren't leaders. These men can't do X, Y, Z. You telling me all these men aren't leaders? There's tons of black men with jobs, tons of married black men, tons of black men that are homeowners. And you say none of them are good leaders. None of them are worth you listening to a bit of their advice. That's completely asinine. But again, it's y'all standards that causes y'all to disrespect us. It's not the rest of the world disrespecting us. So until you can look into the mirror and realize that it's you that doesn't respect us, and stop projecting the rest of the world, we're not going to be able to fix the problem. Stop thinking about how other people think about us, because we're not concerned with that. Think about how you treat us. Think about how you respect us, and think about how you care about us. And I guarantee you that will lead us closer together as a people. And I'll end there.
All right, I'm gonna go to True and then let me get Casey in there.
I just wanted to say, so we can keep it moving. I understand time, JR. The fact that a black woman would walk out the house with a bonnet on and then utilize it as a garment to protect herself from the elements like an umbrella does not suffice is the problem. And it does not matter if this woman is married or single. It is the fact that there is not a very, very strong idea presence of, yes, how I'm perceived in this world by how I look, how I talk, and how I dress does matter, and it reflects sometimes negatively. But it's combated that we should allow for that to exist, and that's the problem. And I'll yield.
All right, go ahead, Casey.
Well, I think
let's go to Hank then, Casey. Go ahead, Hank.
No, I think one of the problems is the fact that you sit there and call men not leaders just because they don't agree with you. You call men on this panel, you're not leaders because we don't agree with you. How again, this is what I was talking about earlier, that self-hate. You speak on us about what we say, but you part of that self-hate problem. That's exactly what I was talking about. I don't care what the white folks say. They're gonna say what they say. But if people look like you, Danielle, saying the same thing, that hurts more. Because we're supposed to be on the same side. But you're gonna say we're not leaders. Why? Because we don't agree with you. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there.
All right, go ahead, Casey. Hold on, Danielle. I'm coming to you right after Casey.
Hello, everyone. I hope y'all are good. Can y'all hear me well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Man, I was in the chat. I normally do Thursday night shows, but I try to catch Wednesday nights and put the kids to bed. And I just listening to the show tonight, y'all. I'm confused. I don't I don't understand the the anger, the um negativity being spewed, the body language. Danielle, I don't understand how you don't see how you're talking to the men, which you are talking down to them. It's very clear you are talking down to them. At the same time, telling them that all they think is wrong. There's a way to disagree with somebody without disregarding them, disrespecting them, or talking to them like they're less than and like they need you to mother them up to your level of intellect when they're their own men by themselves. The men on the panel are not from one family, they're from different areas and regions of the country. They have their own thought processes, just like we as women that participate in JR's panel have our own experience, thought processes, and points of view. And as a Black woman who has a amazing family and amazing group of men that I'm surrounded by, my father, my three brothers, my husband, my father-in-law, my two brother-in-laws, I feel disrespected for them by the way you've spoken to these men on this panel tonight. And me watching the show, I've been watching Coel in like the last couple of weeks, and he always has a lot to say, whether I agree with him or not. He always has a lot to say. And to see him say, y'all got it, I knew he was not only touched by how the conversation has been going tonight, but he was bothered that this was happening in real time and that he was a part of it. I don't even know him, but it burned my heart to see that he had this feeling of I give up and I don't even want to participate in something that I signed up for. And more than one person, including Clout, has told you that how you're talking to them is disrespectful. You have continued to give the most disgusting body language, shaking your head, rolling your eyes. You've disrespected Hink and True Hink haven't changed their facial expressions. They haven't moved around like they were disgusted by any of your words. They haven't shown you any disdain or discomfort by their conversation with you. They sat there and they've listened to you respectfully. And Clout, the way you talk to him and saying that he's basically like, who are you? You're nobody. No one on the panel has talked to you in that manner. No one of the on the panel has made you feel like you were less than until you've disregarded or disrespected them. But I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed at this moment by someone who's been participating in JR's network for the past 3 years. I'm embarrassed, probably the most I've ever been embarrassed, because I know you're smart. I know you have a intellectual view of the world and black people. But I'm embarrassed not only for you, and I'm embarrassed for other black women that I've had to listen to this conversation tonight. And if she left on purpose, that's fine. I'm gonna keep talking and saying what I have to say. I'm embarrassed. And I want to say to Biz, Clout, True, Coil, Hink, and JR, I am sorry that this conversation could not stay on a level of respect, even in the midst of disagreement. I can say, as a black woman who has one black son and another one on the way, that I would never talk down to my husband, my brothers, my brother-in-laws in the manner that I've seen of the same elitism that she said y'all speak from. She was speaking to y'all with the same level of elitism. And I have to say, black women are not looked at any better in the world than a black man. If anybody, black women are used as pawns within the game of racism against our own black men, because we are given this, oh, where you are so smart and intelligent, this, black women, can you put your cape on and save the world? For some reason, black women are drinking that Kool-Aid and thinking that we're better or above the black man that we should be standing next to. It's embarrassing. It's insulting to other black women who understand family, God, husband, man, woman, wife, and then children. That is the true hierarchy and order of family and how this world should be. And anybody speaking out of that, I understand why you may have confusion in your life. I'll land it there.
Okay. Did you want to respond, Danielle?
Yeah, I do want to respond. I will say, I think it's absent-minded to talk about my body language when Hank said the words fuck you, Danielle, to me. And I think that things need to feel uncomfortable for a shift and a growth to happen. Now, if the way I'm speaking makes you uncomfortable, then that's how I talk. But I think it should be more important on what I'm saying. And I said several times that it breaks my heart and my mind that there are black men on this panel punching down on the community. It breaks my heart and my head that when Clout talks about black people, he talks about them in such a negative way. But when he talks about white people, he's smiling and he happy because they bought him some food. I'm sure that there are several black people in his life who have done the same, and he could have highlighted those things. And I really do feel like there's opportunity to disagree. I disagree with a few things True said, but there's some things I agree with him on. But I do think that y'all need to stop this rhetoric of respect black men as leaders in the same breath, but we're gonna remove blackness and focus on humanity. Y'all are failing at leadership, and if your woman can't tell you that, the women in your community who actually experience you, who birth you, who watch you grow up, can't tell you that, then it's a problem. Now, if we want to talk about how I tell you that, then okay. But
Hey, look, hold on.
Coel, let her finish. Coel, let her finish.
We don't give a fuck, bro.
Okay,
This is coming from a chick
Coel.
that wants a dude to act like a Rottweiler, bro. You gonna let
Coel.
her sit up here and do this, bro? For real?
Perspective, man. Relax. It's just a damn perspective.
No, seriously, just so she can feel comfortable. All right, bet we gonna let her do that.
It's not about her feeling comfortable. I'm gonna come to you next, and then you're gonna get your piece, and I'm gonna make sure nobody cut you off.
Opportunity to speak. Let her rock.
Yeah.
I don't expect men to act like a Rottweiler. I said a Labrador, a lab, a golden retriever is what I said. Second, that's what I said. Second, I said several times, and that's being overlooked. I said, I respect y'all. I care about y'all. I'm passionate about this topic. But everybody got a sad face and upset because I'm calling y'all out. Y'all called women out on things that actually matter. It was shows that True was calling women out on. I was like, you right, there's nothing I could say about that. When Kendra G was up here and she was wrong as fuck, I was like, there's not, literally hold the people accountable. But if we are struggling in our community and we talking about YNs and we talking about the way we show up, and I am saying, hey, I think I didn't even point fingers to the men on the panel. I said, maybe this is something we need to talk about in our community because black men and black women are being divisive. And it's based on these things, in my opinion. Are there other things? Yes, for sure. But there's an opportunity here to provide clarity. There is no connection between black women and black men, so much so that we argue. And when we do argue, it's black men are doing this, black women are doing that. We are a part of the same team. But I didn't focus on the system this time and go to systematic oppression and the fact that there were tools and governments and CIA in place to make sure that we were like this. Because y'all said it was going to make me a victim. So then I brought it to y'all. Because every time I mention what the system is doing, and we are experiencing symptoms of the system, y'all said I was playing victim. So then I said, okay, black men, I'm talking to y'all. I don't see no leadership. I don't think that women want y'all to be leaders because they don't respect y'all. And y'all don't want to be questioned and y'all want blind obedience. That's not a leader. A leader wants to be tested. A leader looks left and right and checks with his advisors and then makes a decision. That this is what I feel like people get confused. A
But
leadership.
Danielle, you speak about black men with a broad. You speak
I
with
didn't
a
cut you
broad
off.
brush, a
I didn't
broad
cut you off.
brush. But then
I
you
didn't
want
cut
women
you
to be
off.
individualized.
I don't want women.
All right, Casey, let her finish because she didn't cut nobody off. I don't want nobody cut nobody off. So go to Coel.
Here's
And
what I'm
then
saying. When I talk about black men, it's
Coel.
because I believe y'all are the
You've
leaders.
been arguing, trying to speak, man. So I'm saying I'm coming to you, making sure nobody cut you off. You got next.
Write down your thoughts.
I come from a black man who had 8 brothers, came up here from Mississippi. Like, I've seen black men. I've seen the sacrifice, the expectation, and the money that they fuel into their community, into their families, into their households, into outside communities. That's where I come from. So I want people to understand I do have respect for black men, but within that respect, there's a high expectation that we have to do better. And that I want y'all to do better. That's what I'm saying. And all I heard y'all for the most part is talking about us. And then when I use systematic things, y'all said don't mention them. There's a reason that we are divided, and that is a system. There's a reason that we are holding ourselves to this accountability standard, and that's a system. And y'all said I was a victim. I respect y'all enough that I'm going to hold y'all accountable. And then I might hold the fire to your ass, and it might seem aggressive, but at this point, what else we got to lose? Take the advice. I'm not trying to be nice. Y'all have had people be nice. And I respect Khalil because I heard him talk about how he take care of his sons, how he got his own space for them, how he provide for them, how he set up a spending plan, how he made sure he was working, how he made sure even though he was having issues with his BMs, he still took care of his kids. I respect that. But I'm moving outside of individualism and saying as a whole, black women aren't respecting black men. Black men are saying they're not being respected by black women. I wonder why. And if y'all not willing to talk about that, that's okay.
I want to acknowledge what you said because I hear you, right? I hear what you're saying. When we're telling you about what we feel are the issues with the community, to you it feels as though we're just beating everything down. And I hear what you're saying, right? What I'd like to offer you is to try to perceive that in a different way, right? Imagine you're having difficulty with your car and you're talking to the mechanic about the problem that you're having with the car, right? Or let's say not even a mechanic. Let's say you share a car with a friend and you're talking to your friend about the problems that are happening with the car. The car needs an oil change. You spilled a soda in the car the other day. It left something on the seat. You were smoking with your friends. You burned a hole in the seat. You driving the tires bald because you keep doing burnouts and all that. So you're complaining about these behaviors. Now, that person, they might take it as like an attack, right? But the way you're looking at it is like, yo, we share this car. So I'm concerned about how you care for this car because I got to drive it too. Like, we both need to take this car to work. We both need it. And it's like, imagine you're bringing these issues to the person and they start talking about their boss at work, how their boss is an asshole. They start talking about how, well, the roads got potholes. They start talking about how the police are racist because they keep pulling them over. And it's like, yo, I feel you. All of them things you're saying are real problems. But what that got to do with the cigarette burns in the seats? What that got to do with the fact that there's popcorn and juice all over the seat and you haven't vacuumed it? So I can understand and respect that it feels like an attack. But what we're asking as Black men is that when we share our grievances, that you understand that those grievances are coming from a pain. Those grievances are coming from hurt. It's not an attack on you. This is lashing out because there's no other, we're not being heard, right? So we're lashing out and we're telling you what our pain is and what our problem is. And your response to us is, oh, well, it's the white man. Oh, well, it's the system. And it's like, no, my problem that I'm having is with you. Well, no, you don't understand how the real reason you're having a problem with me is because of how you was conditioned by your job in the system. No, you're just stressed from work. No, I'm not stressed from work. I like my job. I'm upset with you. Oh, well, maybe you're hungry. No, I ate. I'm upset with you. And I think that we have a issue in the community where our women are not willing to accept when we're saying, listen, the problem is you. We're not saying we hate you because of it. We're not saying you should die because of it. We're just saying, hey, the problem is you and you have the power to fix it. And we're willing to wait and work with you while you fix it. But the only way we can get there is if you can get past the fact that you don't like that we're telling you these bad things about yourself and you don't like the way it feels, that I'm telling you that you're sloppy with the car and that you're a mess. You might not like how that feels, but you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? This is how he really feels. And if he really feels that way and he really cares about me, then something about this has to be true, because he wouldn't tell me of this just to hurt me and just to tear me down. So since he's not saying this just to tear me down, let me look in the mirror and see where I can acknowledge him and say, you know what? Look at us and say, you know what? I could see where you're coming from. You're right. I should have cleaned up that stuff. I was moving a little too fast and didn't think about it, but you know what? That's not an excuse. I can do better. And you know what? Let me clean it up right now. And moving forward, we keep the car spotless, and then we're both happy. We both get to ride in a nice, well-maintained, clean car. And that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to confront you with our issues, but honestly, a lot of it comes from an angry place. So I get why you feel that. But this is for the world to know. These conversations, when we're having them with women and it seems like we're beating down on you and we're placing the blame, we're literally just trying to acknowledge our pain. And all we want y'all to do is acknowledge it too, and say that you're willing to work on it so that we can actually come together. Because guess what? Once you start keeping the car clean, guess what? I can no longer complain about that. And now if it's really that the police are really just messing with us, we'll know, because I won't be distracted by no mess in the car. We'll know for sure if it's the outside getting at us now, because me and you are on the same page. And that's where we really are trying to get here. That's the whole point of this. So I apologize if I came off as though I'm here just trying to attack women or attack you personally or anything like that. Because again, and I don't think any of the men's intention on this is to do that. But I don't think sometimes y'all realize we got pain. We got a lot sitting with us. We deal with a lot from the world and from y'all specifically that maybe y'all just can't imagine, but we're trying to give you a glimpse into our world. And we need y'all to open up your minds, open up your ears, and open up your hearts and be a little bit more empathetic to really be able to accept what it's like living in our shoes so you can really feel us and connect with us, because we're trying with y'all, honestly. And I'll end there.
All right, let me get.
Yo, let me go, bro.
Okay.
Can I apologize real fast to let me do it real fast, because I'm gonna
No, do your
apologize to
thing.
you, Danielle, for saying fuck you. So I'm gonna leave it there. I just want to apologize. I shouldn't have did that.
All right, go ahead, Khalil.
This is just a show psychologically, even if other women of color, black women, other women in poverty, whatever you want to call it, or just black women of our culture. That's how they feel. Even if they don't even know how to express it the way Danielle was able to pinpoint it, the way she pinpointed it. But that's the way that they feel. They look around and they just see a majority, forgetting that we're only 13% of the population, and seeing like, oh damn, they got that shit, they got that shit, they got that shit. Well, some black people got shit, but none of the niggas I fuck with got that shit, so these niggas is trash. That's just one thing. And then the fact that she gaslit us with the femininity, and because she's kind of cute, to where these two niggas just apologized. It's just like, damn. It's like, because I had a lot to say. I damn near forgot a lot of it. So True, you might as well go ahead. You raising your hand. It is what it is. I'm gonna shut
No, hold on. Before we get to True, let me get 3 in there because I brought him up from the audience. 3, welcome to the show, brother. What you got for us?
What's up, JR? Appreciate you bringing me up. What's up, family? Hope everybody's doing good. I just had to come up because I got to speak to the men real quick, and then y'all want to say some things to you as well. We missed a great opportunity tonight to really hit all angles of this topic. This topic stemmed from the last show with Amira, who made very, in my opinion, disrespectful remarks. So I'm glad JR brought this topic back. But we, as men, and doing King Talk and stuff, what we should have did is led the conversation from every viewpoint and not be so argumentative with the ladies, because really the topic was about us as a community. And really, I gotta agree with Danielle. All I heard was negativity about the community. Nothing about how foundational Black Americans have 50,000 plus patents. Nothing about how we created or innovated the open heart surgery. Not about how we created the automatic transmission, the gas mask, the traffic lights, ironing boards, lawnmowers. We created the culture, not even just from entertainment. We're talking about in architecture, in science. We did it all. It's so extensive. But let me say this about Danielle as well. Danielle, what's going on is that you're talking to people who never really studied the culture, because I'm going to say it, a lot of y'all ain't from the culture.
Hey, bro, you can't do that, bro.
Hold on, Will.
Take it there. I'm taking it there. What it is what I've noticed is people that are Black American born generations, like me and Danielle, we have a different relation to the culture than y'all. Our blood in this ground. Your blood ain't in this ground. So of course Danielle's gonna fight harder than men who don't associate with the blood that's in the ground from our ancestors. I was just in Charleston, South Carolina yesterday at the African American Museum. They got a booth in there where you can look up your lineage. I'm looking through my paperwork, South Carolina on both sides, going back hundreds of years. So my relation to this culture is more intimate than I feel a lot of people on this panel. And it's cool to be from somewhere else. But if you're not respecting the culture and where we came from, people who really fought and bled for this shit in the 1964 act of civil rights, we fought for immigrants to come that look like us because we thought we was getting reinforcements. And we're getting a lot of people in this country that really don't like us. And let's be real, they're jealous because of the attention that we get worldwide. Yeah, I said it. We created a culture that everybody loves. Look, what I've noticed is people love to get up under the culture and say us, we, when we talking about our great stuff that the world love about. But when it's stuff that people don't like about us, it's them. It ain't us, it's them. That's how I know who from here and who ain't from here. So when you talk about sisters like Danielle and Alicia coming up here fighting, that's because they got a blood connection to the ground and you don't. It's a different energy. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like the men
Don't none of the men up here understand what you're saying, gang. So what I'm gonna say
Hold on, man.
What I'm gonna say is as a
we got people watching. We got people watching, and they can't hear us once we start yelling. So that's at least let people flush out their ideas.
Exactly what you're saying. So the thing is, bro, you coming up here not even showing your face. You sound a little feminine, my guy. I don't know all of that stuff you talking about. That's cool, but you got men up here saying what we saying, and we're disagreeing with the women. You're the only man up here that came up here.
Respectfully,
bro, I'm still talking. I'm still talking.
You're
still talking,
intoxicated,
sir.
I'm still talking. You're intoxicated.
Well, first of all, you don't know how much. You don't know how much I drank and why you.
Sir.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going on what I was saying. You're agreeing.
Coherent thought.
Are you gonna speak on top of me? I'll let you speak, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
You just gonna come up here and disrupt shit, my nigga? I told you was feminine, bro. Feminine. When I had a problem, you see what I did? I cut my camera off and muted, my nigga. Chill. So, like I was saying, you got different men up here disagreeing with different points of the women. See, the thing is, the men are not up here disagreeing with the good points. I think most of the men up here said the black community has good and bad parts. The problem is the women are telling us that the bad parts that the men are experiencing isn't real. And you coming up here and saying, I agree with the women and y'all guys is wrong. And y'all don't got boots on the ground. Y'all not in the community, bro. We don't know you. Your face not even on camera and you sound like a female, dog.
No,
if you're gonna come up here on a panel and tell men that they're wrong and tell men what they not doing and who they not, you at least need to be on camera so we could see your face, bro. Dude, like, please stop talking while I'm talking, bro. Please, bro.
Oh, you got a lot to say right now. Get it out.
You said you a bitch. Keep going. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, just stay focused. Just stay focused.
I want to do my best to
stay focused.
I want to address some of what he was saying.
And you can see my face. I said that.
Okay,
listen, everybody keeps consistently bringing up this. Oh, I keep hearing negativity. Do y'all forget the topic of the conversation? The topic of the conversation wasn't why is Black America great? Why is Black America respected? Why is Black America wonderful? If that was the topic, we could go on that for days too. We could go off on Black inventors. We can go off on patents. We can go off on culture. We can go off on music. But that wasn't the conversation. The conversation was specifically, please don't interrupt me. The conversation was specifically about why the disrespect exists. So we're talking about the things that breed disrespect. We're not talking about the things that breed honor and admiration, because we know those exist too. And that's fantastic, but that's not what the conversation is. And I get tired of the fact that anytime people try to actually have the conversation about the bad shit, the real conversation, y'all always go, well, why can't we talk about the good stuff? Because that's not the fucking conversation that we have. And then what y'all try to do is y'all try to discredit people based off of how many generations they was born here, like as if their ancestors didn't put in blood, sweat, and tears to be here, as if they didn't grow up here and grow up in the same culture, having friends and family in the culture, like they ain't eat the same food, breathe the same air, like they didn't work at the same jobs. Like people are trying to pretend like they lived the lives of their ancestors. You didn't live your past generations. You lived your generation. So you're living in the same America I was born in. Hold on, please don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me. You're living in the same generation I'm living in, right? It doesn't matter where your parents were from and where they was from and where their parents was from. That don't matter. At the end of the day, we all live here in America. We all got to deal with the America that we live in now. Why am I being interrupted? I don't understand what's going on. Why am I being interrupted? Like I was saying, we all got to live in the America we live in now. And this is something that people do. It's like a red herring y'all like to throw out. Whenever people want to address the bullshit going on in the Black community in America, y'all want to start checking everybody's DNA all of a sudden. Oh, well, you're only 2% American. No, listen, it don't matter. It don't matter because at the end of the day, I don't even know where you from, what you look like. I don't know where your ancestors are from or where Danielle's ancestors are, and I really don't give a fuck. The whole point at the end of the day is there's a lot of bullshit in the Black community that causes the community to be disrespected by the outside, that causes the
Now,
community
I
to
just
be
want to
seen.
respond real.
Stop interrupting me. Exercise some self-control. It causes the community to be seen as less than. And that's what the topic of conversation is. If you don't want to have a conversation about the things that are causing our community to be seen as less than, then you're in the wrong space. You're having the wrong conversation, because that's what we're here to talk about. What are the problems as to why people are not respecting us so that we can fix them and gain the respect of the world where we rightfully belong to be? Because we have a lot of admiration. We clearly run things in entertainment. The only place we're lacking is in the respect and in the numbers, because our population in America is 13%. With the numbers and the respect, we damn near own America. And racist or not, nobody would be able to stop us. So let's talk about that instead of saying let's talk about good. We know what's good already. We got Black History Month to talk about good. We're all Black. I'm sure we're all living, doing greatness and causing Black history every single day in our lives. We're all doing great here. This conversation is a part of Black history. But at the end of the day, that's not what we're here to talk about. Let's stick to the topic, which is why the Black community isn't respected. Boom.
Because when we talk about it, Clout, it's because they have people that they love and that they close to that they don't want to shun. You understand what I'm saying? So we'll be like, oh no. I like this. I like this guy. I know he be robbing niggas, so we can't.
I just want to respond real quick to what y'all saying.
Oh my God, bro. You just got up here, nigga. You see how long I was quiet?
Coel, he asked you several times if you wanted to speak and you said no.
I'm talking about before. You such a female. Go ahead.
Doing the whole show, bro.
Clout, are you American?
Yeah, I'm American.
Okay. I thought, okay.
I can't ask that question. Where your grandparents from? Where your family from?
See, that doesn't service the
I'm not to any point. I'll mute. Because I don't want us to be arguing. I think that
I'm not trying to argue.
Hold on.
Where are your grandparents from? When they start running from that question, Danielle, you gotta watch out. You gotta
watch out.
Well, come on. Now, if y'all gonna do that man like that, then y'all need to look at Danielle. You realize Danielle's biracial, right?
No, the fuck I'm not.
Realize that.
Doesn't. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
You tell us, Danielle, you think you're higher heritage.
Why y'all always messing with me, bro?
Hold on, y'all. Three. Go ahead and finish making your point outside of the questions about people's
You got a
grandparents.
4C hair on your body. Stop playing.
Thank you, sir. So, JR, if I'm not, incorrect, the title of the show was "What Were Our Thoughts About Black American Culture?" Is that correct?
No.
It was one of the questions that I opened up with. The topic that you see on YouTube is why other cultures lack respect for Black American culture.
Right. So we're still talking about the emphasis on Black American culture, correct?
That's what he said. Why other cultures lack respect for Black American culture.
So what I'm saying is we're talking about my culture. This is what I was born into. My entire family on both
mine
sides.
too. This is what I was born into.
Exactly. So how could you tell us that we're not footed in that, bro?
No, what I'm saying is when you say certain things that are just 100% negative, like that's all Danielle's been saying all night is like, okay, hold
on, bro. People don't lack respect for you when you do positive things.
So now
you're only gonna lack respect for you when you do negative stuff, bro.
Okay, all right. So
I don't care what perspective y'all have. I don't care what y'all say. I just want to make sure everybody get it out.
All right, appreciate it. I'm not gonna be before y'all long. Look, what I'm saying is this. The comments that were refuted, and I gave you guys 2.5 hours before I even came up. I'm listening to the guy's perspective. It's not like I was not listening to what you guys were saying. I didn't hear very much good. Like with Brother True, I don't think True really said one thing that was positive. He agreed with some things that were positive that was said by other panelists, but he never came out and said anything. He just said the shit was trash, point blank, period. And I'm like, wait a minute, all of it? What we tend to do.
Real quick, sir. I don't know if you were listening. Real quick, sir. I said that at one time we had stood for excellence. And in the last 30, 40, 50 years, we have shifted from that. And then I concluded and said, it's trash. I was speaking to the current condition. And that's what's unfortunate sometimes about these conversations, that we want to cherry pick on what's being said.
No, but here's the thing. What you are being shown is trash. We are the most visualized and talked about race of people in the entire world. Our culture is on blast 24/7, right? So what you're seeing them tell you is the trash. Look, I'm a technician. I'm an HVAC technician.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who's them? Quick. I'm a little slow. Who's them? Who's the them you're referring to when you say
the dominant society?
The dominant society.
Sir,
okay? So you're saying the dominant society is showing us.
No, let him finish. Just let him
I'm just
finish.
trying to understand before he proceeds.
Actually, it will be the minority of society. It will be the people that control everything, and that's a small minority of people that control
But
everything.
just let him finish, y'all.
No, we can't get, bro. We can't let people get up here and talk bullshit, dog. Just because so they can feel good, bro.
Yo, three, my bad. I wasn't trying to derail you. You still got the floor. I was just trying to understand so that we could all be on the same page. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all good, man. I don't be tripping like that. That's cool. What I'm saying is, and you're saying, Coel, you're correct. It's a small minority, but they're still dominant. You're talking about a group of people that make the decisions for the planet. They've decided that Black people need to be exterminated, and they're going to use propaganda like they used against the people with the small hats in the 1940s. See, they tested all of that stuff before they put it on us in Germany. You got to know history. Ghettos came from their terminology. That's not from us. Ghetto didn't have nothing to do with Black people. It started with Jewish people. All right. But you got to know your history, and you got to know the timeline to understand the attack. You got to look up COINTELPRO and what they did in the
Who said I didn't know that, though? You're assuming I didn't know that, bro.
Yelling, man.
Sir, if you
the thing is, I could let you finish, but don't make a statement like I don't know things. Say what you're gonna say, but don't say if you knew that, then You don't know me, my guy. Talk.
There's several people on this panel, so you must have some type of self-inflection, because I didn't mention you at all.
You just said my name. You just said my name, bro.
Several sentences ago, sir. In that current thought, I was talking about something different, and you just elected to get emotional out of nowhere. But I didn't even say your name. What I'm saying is, if you know the hit, you should have said this before I got up tonight. We've been up here almost 3 hours. You didn't say that, so you got to show what you know. What I'm saying is, the history is deeper than what a lot of men on this panel presented, and it was a great opportunity to show leadership in the community. I can understand why what Danielle is saying, that we're not respected worldwide. We're not. As a technician, I'm in people's houses every day. I see the differences, but I'll tell you one thing. When I go to my Black American family, the vibe is always right and positive. They getting money. They raising their kids. I don't know all these ghetto people. I'm from the hood. Y'all, the only thing y'all promote is the worst of us. I've seen Black doctors with beautiful homes, $1 million homes. You don't know their names. They're down here living good privately. But we don't highlight that class of people. We want to highlight the lowest of us, and we act like other cultures don't have lower extremities than. I see Mexicans that's doing the wrong shit. I see Arabs in the store doing the wrong shit and being racist. Palestinians, they're not on the Summer Jam stream. We are. It's because we're the chosen race for whatever reason. But we are the world's attention. And I'm just saying, the men missed the point of leadership tonight. We could have led that conversation and talked about different viewpoints better than the worst of us. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
That wasn't the topic, brother. That
wasn't the topic or the question, bro.
Yeah, I inherently.
I hear you. And the sentiments of what you're saying are valuable. That there's a lot of value we can talk about.
Cloud, can I just let everybody know I am not biracial? I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm not biracial, but I will mute.
Listen, I'm not gonna assume you're biracial, but what I'm saying is, right, there's something of lighter skin in your generation somewhere. I'm sorry.
If this was 1920, you would pass.
I don't know who lied to you, but
talked about it.
You don't have there's no 4C hairs. Like I said, you don't have a 4C hair on your body. I can see it. Your hairs
you
are coming.
Can't see my body. I got on long sleeve shirt.
Well,
but
sorry,
anyway,
not on your body. Maybe you got some 4C hairs somewhere. But what I'm saying is, the ones I can see, those ain't 4C. Those are straight. So
okay, I got a perm. So what?
Hold on.
What I have
even if you got 30 generations of American in you. Even if you got 30 generations of American in you, I guarantee you, I got more black in you.
Okay, cool. Okay. I just want to yield real quick because I think arguing black is crazy. But
now arguing black is crazy.
Hold on.
We was
Oh
talking
my
about how
God,
niggas
man.
wasn't really American. Now all of a sudden we
No,
can't
I
argue
didn't. I
black.
asked
You
if
see
you
how y'all
were. Can
niggas
we
do? Y'all love switching the goalposts.
clout? I asked, were you
Oh my
American? I
God.
didn't ask if you were black. I said, are you American?
Why did
I'm
you
not
even need to
arguing
ask that question?
because I know that black people. I talked about the diaspora earlier. I know that we come from literally
Right.
every
You had
single
to ask if I
massive
was
land.
American to determine if I was qualified to be able to have the conversation. If my black
Dead
card
ass.
was
No, no, I
Black
wouldn't.
American, yes. And this is
to
how
make sure I
Okay,
women
was
gaslight.
American, right?
That's how women gaslight because she
okay.
knows you.
Then he asked me about my grandparents, right? To make sure my black card checked out, right? But now
I
that
get it. I
we
think you
checking
hear
melanin
it,
count, now that we checking melanin count, now the conversation can't be had no more.
sir.
Because
I
if we
think
going
you're
based off
hearing
of
what.
melanin, I'm up
Okay.
on the score.
Listen, cool. I love your skin. I think you beautiful. I'm not
Love it.
saying that. I think he three asked you about your grandparents. I asked if you were American,
Right,
and
but
you
what I'm
said
saying
yes.
is the
But
quality of
hold
my
on,
blackness was definitely
I'm not
checked and
ta-
tested. Now all of
for
a sudden we
sure.
don't talk about
I
blackness.
fucks with your blackness. I definitely fucks with your blackness. I fuck with. I think everybody on the panel is black. I'm not arguing blackness. I just
Oh,
asked.
now. I could have
We
swore
all
you just
brothers
said
and
we
sisters.
wasn't. I could have
All right,
swore you.
I'm gonna take the opportunity to get OJ in there. Go ahead, OJ. What you got, brother? Because it's getting a little bit late, man.
I came in at the tail end of everything. How y'all doing, everybody? Appreciate you letting me on the show. I agree with Clout and I agree with Hank. I think the biggest issue with our community is our women do not respect us because clearly right now it's showing that even though we are calling out the carnage and the stuff that's being pushed to the forefront as a problem, we got my guy, what's his name, 3, saying that it's being negative. Honestly, we're just painting the picture of what's wrong. If we had respect in our community, our women will respect us. We can probably build something from it. But we're so separated since the 60s and all these laws that incentivize us to be single and out here making the separate homes and families. I think that's probably the one big issue we probably have is not having respect for our women. Just from me observing from 33 years of living. So, and I've been watching the show for a while, and I
Man,
watch a lot of other
I
shows
remember
too.
seeing you before.
And Kevin Samuels, rest in peace to the Godfather. It's clearly been shown what the problem is. We can't communicate well. We argue every time points get brought up. The goalpost constantly gets moved. Somebody's moving the goalpost to prove who is right and who's not right. And the conversation shifted so many ways. It's like we done lost the whole point of what the problem is. I don't know what Danielle was saying. I kind of got lost in that, and Aisha.
And I
But
totally go ahead. Sorry.
But I definitely understand the whole point is that yes, they don't respect us, but they love us. They love our culture. They want to look like us, dress like us, act like us. But y'all don't respect us. That's the issue. And they see that. Even Amir tried to say it the other night.
And that's why they don't respect us.
Can I ask y'all a question? I just want to ask the men a question, right? Now, do y'all believe that if women respected y'all, then things would be different?
Yes.
And that
Yes.
it would take, yeah, okay. So it would take a woman to respect y'all and things would be different.
Yes.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Yes.
So then with that being said, that means that y'all are waiting on us to do something for y'all to do something, which makes us the leaders. Because
See
if
how you
y'all were the leader,
how you
can I
twisted
just
that? No, that's
but
not.
also true, I want to say there are several things today that I have agreed with you on. And
Well, see,
last
no,
show,
I
there are
appreciate.
several things. Not to discredit what you're about to say, you definitely can disagree with me. But I'm
gaslighting.
saying okay, and I am saying true. There are several things that I agree with you on today, and I think we figured out how to agree in a healthy way, disagree in a healthy way. I will like to say, stop calling me biracial, but okay, I'll leave it at that.
That wasn't.
This is one thing we do though.
I
No, go
think
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, True.
I think that's exactly, again, JR launched the show by giving each one of our box panels our perspective. Whether it was agreed on or disagreed on, that's really freaking irrelevant. What I personally hate, I'm speaking personally, is that it seems like we cannot share a perspective from the men because there's more men on this panel than there is women. And I appreciate every young lady that came up here and shared her perspective. In the moment, we men that look similar, We got a man who, again, we can't see, and they'll come in and try to now cape and derail. That mess is mad annoying. If you want us to remain in the leadership and in the strength that we have and we carry in our individual lives, I believe that what you can do is you can figure out how to find some credence in what we're saying instead of now positioning us against each other, because there is never going to be 100% of agreement. I said what I said from my perspective. I also spoke to the fact that I'm saying us as a people first, not color first, people first. It just so happens to be that we're viewed through the eyes of people from melanin and all of these things collectively. So why don't we figure out how to be better humans? Why don't we figure out how to be better people? Black, light skin, dark skin, freckle face, that's irrelevant. And that's what happens amongst us, and it's a freaking annoying. And that's what I'm saying.
But the rest of the world don't play that game.
But okay, sir.
But you came up here playing that game.
But what's interesting is that we had a young lady, my girl Danielle, spoke to our experiences as individual Black men interacting with other communities. Klaus said that's not his experience. I said that's not my experience. And other brothers said this, and it was not received. And that's the problem.
Y'all are the only two. Most Black men in America have experienced racism. So to pretend like you have
every man up here said the same thing except for three.
You haven't received racism. I grew up around Black men my entire life. My father's a Black man that served in the Marine for 30 years.
Baby girl, you are a woman. You are protected class.
And true, I would like to know, what is your lineage? Because it's not given FBA. I'm sorry. I just gotta know. If it is, I'm sorry.
When I check
this, what does that matter?
I'm like 40.
Because when you're not of this lineage, you do not have the same perspective.
You one of them FBA people?
It is a difference. We can tell.
Can I answer the question?
I would love to answer the question. Things like, our lives matter.
Then what's everybody else's?
I never said y'all make a new way to distinguish yourself from Black people to have so that y'all can maintain this victim shit. One day it's some FBA.
We already know how you feel. We all victims. Okay.
I didn't say our lives matter, Aisha. My perspective from being wrapped in this melanin skin has always been that amongst our community, it's always having to. It's like having to fight. Exactly.
Where are your people from?
My people, Mississippi, Louisiana, throughout the South.
Okay, your conversation is valid. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question, True?
Oh wow, because you came up from the South, it's valid now.
Yes. No, because he's a foundation of Black Americans.
You can't discredit him now.
So
you don't got no Miami
lineage. So his conversation is more valid than someone who isn't of the lineage.
A fun fact: my cousin is Mary McLeod Bethune. If that gives any more validity.
Yeah.
Oh, this nigga's Black history in the flesh. Y'all done now.
Yeah, we got it.
Well,
yeah.
You know who that is.
Bloodline too. I ain't gonna release
out of the college. That's right.
But True, I want to ask this question. Have you had great relationships with other Black Americans? Would you say your experience with Black Americans has been more positive in your life or negative?
I would say it's been a mixture of both. The challenge that I've had with Black Americans has been anytime I'm pushing for excellence, there seems to be resistance.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be resistance in your circle.
Yes. No, not in just the circle, collectively, because what happens is that there seems to be this romanticizing of the lack thereof. When I'm speaking to, again, people saying that you can digest information, that you can incorporate disciplines, that you can progress as a person, I have to be told, but because I'm this, or you know how it is, and I don't subscribe to that. Like,
okay, so you don't agree, you don't agree with the theory. Well, actually, it's really true, but the law of white supremacy, basically, you don't believe in that.
No, I don't agree with the fact that if I'm in a able-bodied individual with no helmet, that I don't allow things to keep me limited. And I think that sometimes is, again, the divided mind that we have. We're doing it now. Nobody's stopping us at all.
I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying, True. I agree with what you're saying. I think it's half of our minds. It's half of our mindset too, where I think it's nuanced. I agree with what True is saying. There's often times where I do see people I do see people identify what has happened to us and then develop an objectives to move away from it. And I also see people who identify what happened to us as an excuse to not try. So I do agree with what he is saying, but
Is there anybody on a panel that thinks that white supremacy is stopping any black person in the United States of America from doing anything today?
I would say
Is there
yes.
any?
I don't
I would
believe
say
so.
yes. I would say yes.
Okay, okay.
And look, and that's fair to have that perspective. But I think for those of us who,
Stop calling me biracial, bro.
but I think for those of
I didn't
us
call
who,
you biracial. Who called you biracial? Oh, my bad.
Right, the
no,
chat.
good. I think for those of us who I believe are collectively trying to move progression forward, we shouldn't have to fight you. If you believe what you believe and you want to buy into that subscription, go ahead, my brother.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the kicker.
But the thing is, before you ask that question, what is stopping black? What is stopping a black American?
Let me say this real quick, bro. Let me say this. I know progressive people. I know progressive people, black people, that said the same thing.
What is white supremacy stopping?
But what about those?
American?
What about those black people who are successful that are my mentors, making money, raising great families, great fathers, and they're telling me to look out for it? What about those men and black women?
You just proved my point. What in America? What white supremacy in America is stopping black men or black people today? Please just give me one example.
I don't think you heard me. I'm telling you, I've met black women and progressive black men. A lot of them in my family, very smart people that have traveled the world and have help out multi-million-dollar businesses. They'll tell you that it exists up there in that realm where they're at.
No. I'll ask you a specific question. I asked
their lives are contradictory to their beliefs.
I asked the panel question. I said, does anybody think that white supremacy is stopping black people from doing anything in America today? And you said yes.
Yeah.
So what are they stopping? Please give me one example.
Well, they stop it in various ways.
I said one. Please, just one.
Okay. Okay. Education.
Huh?
What about education?
No,
that's a very broad word.
Education.
How does white supremacy stop black people from getting an education?
What do you mean? There's all types of ways.
Okay. So
like give us a specific way that a black person can't get an education.
Clout. Hold on. So we could just nip this right in the bud. Clout. We could just nip this right in the bud because real men know from his response, it's bullshit. So we can just let it just go on and just let whatever's gonna happen because that was bullshit and we know it. The real one's gonna know it. If they don't, they're gonna learn in some years.
What do you mean it's bullshit?
Three. I can also assist you with an example at how white supremacy does today.
I bet she can.
Stop.
Let me, don't
but if I don't want to overtalk you, so I'm not saying you need.
Of course, the female gonna help the other female.
Let me ask three something. Hold on, So what you're essentially saying? Hold on, three. I just want to clarify.
Drunken eye. That's
three. Quick question, three.
I'm not
three.
Drunk,
So
bro.
are you basically saying that black people, white supremacists, black people cannot get an education in America? Is that what you're saying?
I did not say that. I said education. You assume that.
Well, you didn't specify. So you just said education, which is just a word. It doesn't answer the question even.
Because you really don't have nothing to say.
Education is just a word.
I can assist him in an example.
Not you did, bro. Because three made this statement.
They're not letting me talk. They're talking over me. So
all right, brother. All right. Hold on, brother. I'm gonna give you a second. Hold on, brother. Give me 1 second, three. I'm gonna give you a second to answer. But three, when you answer, three, hear me out. When you answer, listen, don't say things like when you say things like in various ways, we're gonna interrupt you because that sounds like you're bullshitting. So when we ask you, okay, what specifically can black people not do that white people can do in America? You got to be very specific and get.
That wasn't the question. The question was, how is white supremacy stopping black people in America from doing anything? What is that?
He said, name one thing. I said education, and then y'all didn't let me speak no more after that.
No, bro, you didn't say you ain't let me speak no more. You stopped. You said education.
Hey, man, they cannot hear us when we keep talking like this, man.
Right.
Allow people to finish.
Yeah, let me finish, bro. Just ask me a question. Let me finish. Bro, I said education. See, look, man, you keep saying that. You wouldn't say that shit in my face, number one. So keep on talking on the internet, man.
You don't even got your face up here, my guy.
Coyle, let him finish, though. Let him finish. Go ahead, three.
No, bro, it ain't gonna be too much more of that. These niggas get on these mics and shit and they think it's sweet. It ain't sweet over here, my nigga. So chill out with that.
Come on, three. You got it. All right.
No, I just had to check that real quick, OG Hank. I just had to check that. But the thing is this, education. There's been discrimination that they get, the privately owned, because they'll say, oh, well, black people not giving money back to those. The state-owned sanctions don't take care of these schools. Enrollment discrimination, scholarship discrimination. There's several different ways in education where they can stifle a would-be scholar and make sure that he's not successful. I hear this from students all over the country. I've heard this all the time. I used to be in banking. I would speak with people that's doing financial things, trying to get through school and stuff. They have a lot of stories of how they're suppressed. That doesn't mean they don't succeed in spite of it. Understand what I'm saying? But they tell me, these are very successful black people that I meet every day. Yeah, man, thank God for what I got. Boy, them so-and-sos, they make it hard. They make it hard, but they succeed in spite of that. So how can you tell me that there's not white supremacy in that realm of education, where I speak to educators and they say this every day? So there's several different things, other politics, sex.
Answer that question.
White supremacy infiltrates everything in our culture, and it's a systematic affair. It's nothing that's individual, it's systematic, is all I'm saying.
I can give you a specific
let me answer that question.
example so that
Let me answer that question. Let me answer that question, and let me just respond. Let me just respond, because you just said, hold on. I have my hand up and everything, bro. I have my hand up and everything. I have my hand up and everything.
I ain't been saying that.
But I have my hand up, bro. You got to claim it. Hold on.
Man,
you can go after me.
I've been chilling.
Hold on. What you said doesn't apply, because you said, hold on. What 3 said doesn't apply, because
somebody yield, bro. Come on, man.
3 said they succeed in spite, right? 3 said they succeed in spite. But the question was, how does white supremacy stop them? So if they are succeeding in spite, that means they were not stopped. So that means your answer is null and void, because you still haven't demonstrated. You still have not. Hold on, let me finish. You still have not demonstrated an example of where black people have been stopped. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make the question even easier for you, right? I'm gonna ask you 3, in your personal life, how has white supremacy hindered you from doing anything in your life? And what I mean by that is, what can a white person do in America that you individually cannot do?
It's not about what they can or can't do.
No, that's the question I'm asking. Don't reframe what it's about. Don't reframe what it's about. That's the question.
Dude, I'm answering the question the way that I want to answer.
No, but you tried to reframe it. So it is about that. Don't say it's not about what I'm saying. It is about what I'm
saying is, now I said that it's not that they'll stop you from doing what you want to do as far as getting your degree and your diploma and stuff, but there will be obstacles that are meant to stop you that will be placed in your way. As far as me personally, everybody's experienced racism. I don't know if you've experienced racism or not. I'm from the South, dude. I'm from South Carolina, for crying out loud. I've experienced racism all my life. But there's not a time where we sit around in the South and they say, oh, these white people don't like us. We have been raised with it, and we've been taught how to handle it. It's something that we've lived with our entire life, and we're told about. So that's why we succeed in spite of it. We know it's there, but we know how to move.
So then essentially what you're saying is that when black people experience obstacles, it's white supremacy. Because from my understanding, all people experience obstacles on any chosen path.
There's nothing that's 100% of nothing.
Whether it be resources, whether it be competition, whether it be backstabbers, whether it be the land mass, whether it be skin color, whether it be language barrier, whether it be culture, whether it be not having the right network. As far as I'm concerned, all human beings experience obstacles. So why is it that the obstacles that black people experience are classified specifically as white supremacy, but the obstacles that other people experience isn't classified as white supremacy? Because if a white person experiences obstacles, then what supremacy is to blame for that?
Can I answer that, 3, if that's okay?
Yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
Hold on,
okay, so this is
man.
I want to answer. Hold on. I don't want, because it becomes argumentative, and I think he's not giving specific examples. So the specific example where white supremacy, because classism is born through racism. It's the way to be able to overshadow people who are non-black people. Well, okay, so you wanted to know how white supremacy affects black people. Socioeconomics.
No, that's not what I asked. You're changing the question. I did not want to know how white supremacy affects black people, because then you guys can be vague.
I apologize. I heard you wrong.
Hold on. No. I want you to understand the question. I want to know specifically in your individual lives, what can white people do And so what does white supremacy allow white people to do that you cannot do because of white supremacy?
Okay, so white supremacy allows white people to be able to move in a neighborhood and get an appraisal on a house differently than what that appraisal would grant me based on the house being the same. There have been case studies done to prove this. I am also, before y'all jump down my throat, a homeowner. Well, I sold my house, but I've bought a house before. So white supremacy based on redlining and other factors hold Black people back further away from the goalpost of generational wealth by denying them in the way that they appraise their homes. Even as so much as so is giving insight to your client as a realtor to say,
Okay.
hey, make sure you take those pictures down in your house because they're going to get it differently. So that's one specific way that it has affected me because I'm a homeowner.
Okay. So you're saying
Socioeconomically,
price gouging, you're saying price gouging is white supremacy.
no, I am saying that systematically denying a person based on race
Okay.
access to more money
Okay.
is systematic racism.
So let me respond to your first point before you go to another point. Okay, so let's reverse the situation. Let's say I'm a Black landowner and I'm looking for tenants to live in my building that's in the most Black neighborhood in Brooklyn. It's the most Black neighborhood in Brooklyn, and I'm a Black landowner. Now, if I was to give preferential rent to other Black people, like let's say I were to give preferential rent to other Blacks, that would then mean how that would then defy that white supremacy exists, because that what you're talking about is nepotism, right?
Mhm.
So Black people also have the power to do that same thing, which is they also have the power to cut better deals and redline as well. And so because Black people have the power to do it as well, you can't call that white supremacy, because it's not a power that only white people have.
Aisha, hold on.
Let me finish.
Aisha,
Hold on.
2 seconds.
It's a strategy. Hold on. It's a strategy that maybe mostly white people currently use, but it's not a strategy that only white people have access to. So meaning if you own land, you can choose to rent it to only Black people. You can choose to rent it to Black people at a lower price. If you want to do that, that's in your right. So that's not something that only white people can do. So that can't be white supremacy. Now, is that a little unfair? Is that a little unfair? Hold on. Now, is that a little unfair? Yes. Is that discriminatory? Yes. Is that white supremacy? No.
This is why I asked you, Clout. And I'm not an FBA. I just found out what that was like 2 days ago, so I won't discredit it or deny it. What I will say is this is why I asked if you were American, because the nuance is that while I agree with True, and I think y'all have agreed on points, he has a different understanding than all of us, but we all have a foundational understanding based on being Black in America, what systematic racism is. Whereas, yes, you could be prejudiced, yes, you could be discriminatory, but systematic racism is based on who has the power in the dominant society and who pulls that power and utilizes that power as a tool to hold other people back. So if I decide to rent to 10 Black people versus Black people making a decision in this country doesn't affect white people based on power dynamics the way that it does white people, which creates supremacy. The supreme higher. Hold on. I got you. Hold on. That creates supremacy. The understanding of what supremacy is that it affects every single part of us, where we get to live, what the things that we have to do to get to live there, where we get to get our education. It does not stop education, but it does disassemble a community to make sure that they don't get taxpayer dollars to fund into that school.
Correct.
It does make sure. Hold on. Can I just get before you?
You're going into another point, Danielle, and I just want to address that.
Clout, give me 2 seconds, please. Okay. It also says that systematic racism represents in that community that affects that system of a school for children and their education is basically giving out loans and grants to people who are not of that community to exploit it. So that means that an Asian, a Arab, and a Jewish person will be incentivized via grants and loans to exploit that community to make sure that they don't enter the supremacy community and exploit that money, which means that Black people are being robbed and discriminated against and experiencing racism in two ways. First way is you are letting people that are not in our culture, incentivizing people that are not in our culture, sell goods and services in our culture. The second part is you are then incentivizing them being able to build their culture on our back, which is so much similar to the other part of America, which is how America is founded. They used us as a tool to build wealth and then built their own community in their own wealth. So Asian Americans get to sell products and goods to our community and then build their own. Arabs get to sell products and goods and service to our culture, expending from the $1.2 trillion spending power. Hold on. Expending from, I'm almost done. If my people, I'm talking about Black Americans, have $1.2 trillion in spending power, and you seeing other generations, to Amir's point, in 2-3 generations, they're better off, which says one thing. They are being able to exploit and access our money through systematic oppression tools, which means that if you want to see what a Black person in America community would look like, you look to an Arab community and you look to an Asian community because they use systematic tools. Now that's just not to discredit this. This is pure fact. This is pure fact. So it's not to be discredited. But that's what systematic racism is. It isn't saying, and I'm not even going to be mad if somebody say, I don't want you to live in this building. I'm not going to be too much mad if somebody say you got big lips or the N-word versus you exploiting and dominating a whole community and giving. And then last part, and I'll land. I will yield here. The last part of this is although they incentivized it, they also forgave it, which means these people didn't have to spend any money to be able to access our money and build up their future generations. And that is a system put in play by white supremacy.
All right,
That's all I'm saying.
Cloud, let me say one thing. Let me say one thing, Cloud. Let me say one thing, Cloud. I'm gonna say one thing and you can have it. Let me say one thing and you have it. The Asians and the Arabs, they own nail salons, liquor stores, and gas stations in the hood and in the suburbs. I don't know where you be or if you be in both places, but if you go to the suburbs, they got the liquor stores and gas stations, and if you go to the hood, they got the liquor stores and gas stations. And if you go to the suburbs, the Asians, they got the nail salons, and in the hood, they got the nail salons too.
So I was going to speak on that. The thing is, the entire perspective is predicated on a false assertion, and that false assertion is the idea that, first off, you said that Black people can't do the same thing as them because Black people don't have the power. But then in your same argument, you also mentioned that Black people have a high spending power. The reality is that Black people do have power to influence white people, even though you said they don't. A perfect example of that is Target right now. Target right now is losing lots of money. Why? Because Black people are boycotting. During Martin Luther King's time, they boycotted buses, and that's how they were able to get change. Black people have billions of dollars of spending power, and we absolutely have the power to affect white people. If me and 40 niggas decided to walk over to the next neighborhood and start shooting every white person we saw, we could change shit. If we decided to start burning down houses, shit would change. But again, Black people keep perpetuating this idea that we don't have power. We don't have the power to be racist. We don't have the power to affect white people. We don't have power, and systematic racism is different because they have the power. It's a nonsense argument. We have as long as you have physical bodies and people, you have power. So that's nonsense. The only lack of power that you can perceive is from the lack of organization. That's one thing. Now, another thing. You brought up loans and you brought up Arabs and Asians. Now, Arabs and Asians, like Coel said, they do business everywhere. I don't know if you say you've been outside the hood, like you keep saying you've been outside the hood, but you keep talking about the situation in Black neighborhoods as though it's unique to Black neighborhoods. There's a Chinese store in every neighborhood, Black or white. I have literally been into the mountains in Washington where there's literally nothing but Native Americans and Mexicans, and there's Chinese restaurants there. Okay, Chinese people, that's just how they do business. They're everywhere. Asians are everywhere. The Arabs are everywhere. That's just how they do business. Now, you're talking about them getting loans. Now, this is the thing. There are several business loans for Black people and specifically for Black women to start businesses in the community. But you know what the problem is? The problem is that so many Black people don't even look into it and take advantage of these programs because you know why? They believe the hype that America doesn't want to see them succeed. And so they don't know there are grants. They don't know that there are programs that they can get for their business. How do I know they exist? I got one last year as a Black man.
That's you.
Now let most people in the hood tell it to you. Let most Black people in the hood tell it to you. Oh, America won't forgive your debts. I've gotten loans from the government that have been forgiven, but you wouldn't know about all of that because again, they're gonna tell Black people they can't have nothing, they can't start businesses. That's not the problem. The problem is that culturally we're not business minded, which is why the government has to incentivize Asians and Arabs to have services in our neighborhoods. You want to know why? Because if they didn't, there would not be services in the neighborhood. You go through some Black neighborhoods where the only food
You're
to
not.
eat.
He's not. You can't be American.
Go to some neighborhood. What are you talking about? The next neighborhood over from me. The next neighborhood over from me is a 5-mile radius where the only food you can eat is Chinese. What are you talking about? In my neighborhood, matter of fact, in my neighborhood, the only food options, if you want to talk about the food options available, are Caribbean food, Hispanic food, and Asian food. There is no American food available. Nobody's opening up American food right now.
That was designed.
He's not. I think he's having a different Black
Yo.
experience, so I wouldn't. I would
Yo.
just not respond to it.
Hey,
Black women are just so dedicated. Black women are so dedicated to not understanding the Black man.
He's not Black, he's not American. It's like this is the reality. Like Black people have plenty of power. It's just that because they keep listening to this nonsense rhetoric, they don't use it. You don't think you could get loans and start a Black food restaurant in your neighborhood? Sure, you could. All you got to do is go learn the business, learn how to get the machines, learn the equipment, get the rent space, get the loans, because guess what? You can get them. This idea that they don't give Black people funding is bullshit.
Dude,
I done got more than 100,000 in funding just last year. What are we even talking about? It's easy funding. As long as you pay it back, you can get funding.
That's
the
not
problem
true.
is
All right, y'all, check it out, y'all. Check it out, y'all. It's we over
So
time,
again,
man.
let's be realistic here.
I gotta get
Let's
up
look
off here.
at the real world.
You can
Black
$5
people
send
have the same
Alex.
access to success as white
Read the
people.
super
All we
chats.
got to do.
Read the super chats, Clout.
Oh,
Read the super
yeah,
chat. Yeah, you can $5. I asked the Black woman to dress appropriately when living as a woman. She told me that we Nigerians act like we better than Americans. Happy intrinsic 499 says majority of bonnets worn in public come with PJS attached. Big Ann 11 says I don't drink, but when Danielle started talking, my uncle bottle of Henny is looking good right now. Can you pick one point and speak on it and not be from the perspective of victim? The Will member 37 months, man. Appreciate you, man. So the cuss word don't. So this US in the world don't respect Black men, Black women. Don't need to. Got it. The Will 499. Question for Danielle: should women in Gaza respect their men, even though Israelites have their foot on both their necks? Hey yo, 199 6 support. You can A. 3 JRs half Nigerian. Is that a problem? Duke Whitfield 499. Half white is still FBA. Most of our ancestors were raped. If it depended on us preserving our roots since we got to this country, I would be 10 FBAs. And lastly, you can A. $2. What should you? You should respect men without being told. I want to thank everybody that's contributed to the platform. If you guys missed that last episode on Thursday, watch it in its entirety. I want to thank everybody that has talked tonight. Thank everybody, man. Thank OJ3 for coming up. And we out, man.